Sleep Month, make your sleep a priority. By the way, Mini Leaf is offering a buy two, get one free on the Sleep Night gummies during the month of March. Do yourself a favor. Sleep better. Let Mini Leaf help. MINNELEAF.com. Tell them Jordana sent you.
All right, Drive Time is coming up in just a couple of minutes. Of course, our newsroom will be all over the breaking news of those verdicts. We'll have a conversation around that as well coming up at 3:35. Joe Tamborino will join us to give some analysis on these guilty verdicts, which came very, very quickly in the largest COVID-era fraud in the history of the United States, and all of it based right here. We're going to start our 3 o'clock hour with some breaking news from the city of St. Paul, where St. Paul has been in this sort of ongoing discussion about, all right, what are we going to do for the XL Energy Center? How much money do we need? How much money is the city going to put in the wild? Well, the numbers are out, and the ask is big. So the mayor of St. Paul, Melvin Carter, will be with us at the top of the hour. That number is $400 million is what he's asking for from the state. So we'll hear from the mayor of St. Paul as well. Lots of fun coming up, too. We're going to rank your favorite conspiracy theories at 4:35 with Paul Fletcher. Rank you very much. And we need your help. I need to know what you are fed up with, what you have had enough of. We'd love to get your feedback on the talkback feature of the Odyssey app. Right next to where you listen live to CCO, click the microphone and send us your enough. We give thanks, as always, to our friends at thecanopygroup.com.
Jason DeRUSHA is next on News Talk 830 WCCO KMNB HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Don't need to do it. No, I got it.
CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The Federal Reserve is leaving a key interest rate unchanged for now, but signaling it expects to cut rates twice this year. It is watching the economy grow more slowly. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
The Fed has to wait and see how uncertainty and tariff tit for tat and escalation, how that impacts the economy, the labor market, and the inflation rate.
President Trump spoke by phone today with Ukraine's president. Trump says they spoke for about an hour, and he said the call was to align the needs of both Ukraine and Russia to bring about a ceasefire. Linda Kenyon reports President Trump has a unique idea for the way forward.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says President Trump suggested U.S. ownership of Ukrainian power plants would be the best protection against further Russian attacks. Leavitt also underscored intelligence sharing with Ukraine will continue. And when it comes to military aid,
President Zelensky asked for additional air defense systems to protect his civilians, particularly Patriot missile systems. And President Trump agreed to work with him to find what was available.
Yesterday, Trump and Russian President Putin spoke for about 3 hours. And on Sunday, top officials will arrive in Saudi Arabia for peace talks on Monday. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Israel announced today it's resuming ground operations in Gaza and issued a last warning to Gazans, urging them to return the hostages and remove Hamas from power. Many Israelis are concerned about the resumption of fighting, as Rami Inocencio reports.
Reaction from here in Israel has been emotional from the families and supporters of hostages still in Gaza in particular. It's anger, exasperation, fear that this renewed bombing will kill their loved ones.
Some good news from the Vatican about the Pope. CBS's Sabina Castofranco.
Doctors say that Pope Francis continues to improve from pneumonia and no longer requires non-invasive mechanical ventilation to help him breathe better at night.
Arizona executed a death row inmate today. It is the second of 4 executions scheduled this week across the nation. In Warren, Michigan, there was a protest by teachers drawing attention to the impact of dismantling the education department.
I appreciate you being out here today, bringing awareness to our community about what is going on at the federal level, that it would impact across our school district.
Bob Callender, president of the local teachers union.
About $15 million in federal funding comes into our school district alone. That's easily 150 to 200 staff positions that could be impacted if cuts are made at the federal level.
On Wall Street, investors were paying close attention to the Fed's decision. The Dow finished 384 points higher. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is breaking news from News Talk 830 WCCO.
And I'm Laura Oakes, guilty on all counts. After only 5 or so hours of deliberations, a verdict is reached in the past hour in the Feeding Our Future fraud trial in downtown Minneapolis. Defendants Amy Bach and Salim Saeed were charged with 28 criminal counts, accused of orchestrating a $250 million scheme to defraud the federal government of funds that were meant to feed children in need during the COVID pandemic. The trial has been going on for more than 5 weeks. The judge did grant the prosecution's request that both Bach and Saeed be taken into custody and held until their sentencing at a later date. That marks the first time either has been taken into custody during this trial. WCCO's Taylor Rivera is at the federal courthouse in Minneapolis. She will bring us reaction from there as soon as it is available. Federal and state charges have now been filed against Republican State Senator Justin Eichorn.
This comes after a joint investigation between Bloomington Police and the FBI. Hennepin County prosecutors have charged Eichorn with 1 count of prostitution. He was also charged by complaint in U.S. District Court with 1 count of attempted coercion and enticement of a minor. Bloomington police allege Eichorn arranged to meet with a detective posing as an underage girl, and he was arrested near the meetup spot without incident. This comes as Minnesota Senate Republicans continue to call for Eichorn's immediate resignation.
Eichorn has a court appearance in Hennepin County District Court on Thursday afternoon. Prior to these charges being filed, Minnesota Republican Party Chairman Alex Plekish told Vanita Sakar on the WCCO Morning News he's personally very troubled by Eichorn's case.
And it deeply hurt me. It's one of those things that's actually beyond my comprehension of the ability to wrap my head around this. I feel very badly for his family, his wife and his children. And I think that comes first. That's the first thing came to my mind. But, we have to deal with it now. And, I can say it's a very sad day for us.
Plekish says he and all state Republican leaders are calling for Eichorn to resign. If he refuses, Plekish says Eichorn faces immediate expulsion. A Minnesota House committee hearing a bill today that would prohibit health insurance providers from dropping medication coverage in the middle of a plan year. Several insurance industry representatives testified against the idea, saying sometimes changes in coverage can't be avoided. DFL Representative Tina Liebling says that's a tired argument.
We have been hashing around this problem for a really long time, and there's always some reason that the industry comes up here and tells us, oh, that just doesn't work. Oh, that's not fair to us. Baloney.
The measure is part of a package of healthcare policy bills, and a hockey voice for the ages and an investigative reporter who herself became a police officer. Lou Nanny and former WCCO TV reporter Caroline Lowe are among this year's inductees to the Minnesota Broadcasters Hall of Fame. The announcement from former WCCO TV political reporter Pat Kessler today, who himself was inducted just last year.
It is particularly meaningful to receive this kind of honor, this rare honor, as I say, the recognition from our peers, the fellow broadcasters with whom we have the privilege of working for so many years.
Other inductees include former KQRS morning show co-host Terry Train and a handful of radio station executives from Greater Minnesota. WCCO News Time is 3:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Roads are in good shape here in the metro, but southern Minnesota, southeast corner of Minnesota, you're going to find those still to be snow covered and slippery with the blizzard and winter storm warnings continuing down there. Your forecast coming up shortly. 494 westbound at 35W, right lane remains closed with the road work on the bridge. Traffic is heavy yet is coming from Portland Avenue. Crosstown westbound seeing slowing between Cedar heading out to Highway 100. If you're traveling East 94 into St. Paul, expect some congestion as you come in from Dale Street. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
What a crazy winter. Crabgrass season's going to be here early. Just like spring, landscape schedules are getting busy. Don't wait till it's too late to get your project scheduled. Call ProTurf 952-469-6880 or see their work at professionalturf.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by ProTurf. Find them at professionalturf.com. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The storm moves out. The clouds clear out tonight, dropping back to 24. Still a little breezy. Tomorrow looks pretty munny. Mostly sunny with a high near 48. The wind will be fairly light. Mostly cloudy on Friday. I think we matched that high up near 50. It will be cooler than average this weekend with some Light rain and snow possible on Sunday.
Cloudy right now, 37 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
If it's on your mind, it's on our airwaves. News Talk 830 WCCO. Buckle up. Time for the ride home and the chance to get caught up on the day's news, plus whatever else he wants to riff on. This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Here's the star of the show and your host, Jason DeRUSHA.
Are you ready? All right.
Now live on your radio, the WCCOradio.com and the Odyssey app. Here's Jason DeRUSHA.
So much going on in the news this afternoon. We'll be on all of it for you. Laura's got you covered in the newsroom. We'll have conversation as well about that guilty verdict just coming in. Thank goodness, right? Throw the book at these people. You're the ringleader of the largest fraud during the COVID era, that you would enrich your own bottom line at a time we were worried about getting food to kids who needed it all over this state, all over this region. What absolute monster that you would enrich your pocket in this way, and the jury took only 5 hours. I mean, that says a lot. We'll have more conversation about that coming up in 20 minutes, but I'm excited to bring in the mayor of St. Paul, Melvin Carter, who has just released. I mean, I don't know if anyone wants to release the dollar amount when you're going to the state of Minnesota asking for money, knowing that budget situations are challenged. But St. Paul has been talking for a while, along with the Wild, about renovating and bringing XL Energy Center into the modern era. And the mayor is with us right now on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Melvin, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
All right, $400 million is a big, big ask. Is it, I guess, how did you come to that number?
That was a number that I didn't come to. That's a number that I was come to as a result of a year-long study of trying to figure out how to bring, you said it exactly, bring it into the modern era. It's intriguing. We always talk conversations about how arenas like that have a projected 25-year lifespan. Well, that one was built in 2000. So we're in year 25, which I always remind folks of. It's one, it's a city-owned building, so it's city infrastructure. Two, that means it wasn't only built before the pandemic fundamentally changed our understanding of how people can gather safely in groups. It was built before 9/11 changed how we think about people. Like, people don't realize that whole building, big building, has, for example, one escalator. You know, so from a security first perspective, from all of those things, it needs to be brought into the current kind of generation. The other piece I'll say, you're right, $400 million is a whole lot of money. That's the economic impact that building has on our state tax base every year. And if we're able to do this renovation, that number will go up to $500 million a year. That's pretty critical. And I think it highlights that in an economy like right now, it's not only important for us to put a real fine-tooth comb on every dollar we spend. Right now is the time where it's absolutely critical for us to think about what are the returns that taxpayers are going to get on the investments they make. And if we're able to look at it from that perspective, I think we can demonstrate that this is a pretty no-brainer investment.
Mayor Melvin Carter from the city of St. Paul. You know, I was just at the X for the Justin Timberlake concert with my son. And because we were trying to avoid descending into the sea of middle-aged mothers who are living their best life before the show.
Just embrace it.
I mean, these are my people, Mayor, but I was like, I don't know. I just can't. My son was like, no, we're going to keep walking around the concourse. So we spent a fair amount of time walking around the concourse at the X. And I think because the game experience and the concert experience is so good, it sort of covers up the fact that the backstage part of it is pretty outdated. The concourse is certainly not, you know, the way we would design something today. And you're spot on about that. One escalator is sort of astonishing.
That's right. Yeah. And I think when we point stuff out like that, people go, oh, I get it. I mean, from a safety perspective and a security perspective, from just getting people in and out of that building, I mean, getting 18,000 people at any one time in and out of that building, it's critical. From a accessibility perspective, from a consumer preference perspective, you're right. We're spoiled because the building is. The other piece I'll say is, listen, that's right. It's not a small number, but one of the things we have, one of the advantages that we have is the team has been a really good steward of the building. So while the building is at the end of its sort of competitive lifespan, the facility is, it's actually still at the beginning of its structural lifespan. So we have the opportunity, where we saw when we built U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, that was a $1.1 billion price tag. That would be even more expensive today. So the ability to say we can spend a number that's half of what it would cost to kind of do a fundamental rebuild, to do a redevelopment. We want to take advantage of that before we find ourselves in a place where we do have to talk about tearing the building down and building from scratch, building something new.
So the state ask is about $400 million. The city and the county also intending to cover some of this, about $159 million from the city and the county. Do you think? Exactly right. Look, your council over there, the city council, is certainly, I don't know if we need to pick a winner in Minneapolis or St. Paul, which city council is more progressive. But I am curious what you think the odds are that you can even get your own city council to vote to spend a chunk of money, a chunk of city money on this. No one likes spending on what's perceived as going to sports teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nobody likes that, and that's one of the reasons why I keep reminding folks that it's a city-owned building, and should the current tenants of the building determine that building is no longer meets their needs and they need to go somewhere else, the city, the taxpayers will be stuck with a whole lot bigger bill and a whole lot bigger problem than trying to renovate the space for the future. Me and the city council, we've had our disagreements. That's their job. It's all of our job to kind of do what we think is in the best interest of the city. And I'll tell you one thing that I think is putting a lot of fire under all of us right now. As we look at the impacts that we've seen on property taxes, for example, we've seen because of some of the challenges downtown. I mean, every downtown is facing headwinds in the country right now. Ours are particularly exacerbated by, frankly, the sudden death of our largest property owner downtown and the sort of collapse of that portfolio. And because of some of the value shifts that we've experienced downtown, that's resulting in much higher property tax bills for residential properties around the city. So you're right. Nobody wants to feel like, oh, we're funding this, a professional sports team. I think our council members know, one, that they're funding a city-owned facility, city-owned infrastructure, and two, that this isn't just about somebody, having a great time at a concert. This is about putting a real kind of flag on the ground downtown and giving us a chance to giving us something really big that we can rally our downtown around for the future.
How does St. Paul pay for your portion? How do you do it?
Sales tax dollars. There's it's called Economic Development Star. It's repurposing some of the sales tax dollars that we already have in place to be able to do St. Paul's portion. And we're working with the county on exactly how we would structure the county's portion as well.
The Wild, owned by Craig Leopold, will contribute about $216 million. The total package is about $769 million. You brought up the issue of U.S. Bank Stadium. Part of me worries that this is going to be like a Target Center scenario where you put a little lipstick on something, make it look good, make it functional for a couple years, but you don't really solve the problem. Would we be better off just building a new facility right in downtown St. Paul?
Well, you said it. You said that it's such a good game experience here. It's such a good concert experience that it sort of masks some of the bigger issues. What that means is we can do a renovation, and I should say that fact that you just described isn't just Excel Arena. It's Excel Arena, the Roy Wilkins Auditorium. My father went to prom at the Roy Wilkins Auditorium, and I don't think it's much different today than it was then.
That's true.
And the River Center Convention Center. And one of the things that excites me right now is we're probably better than we've ever been in the history of our city at attracting events like the Yacht Club Music Festival downtown St. Paul, or we're getting ready for the World Juniors Hockey Championships next year downtown. And so, the building has already proven its ability. Frankly, the building is punching above its weight so far as far as our ability to kind of do stuff. So we're really confident, like I said, in that projection that I just told you, that, if we can renovate the building and kind of situate it for the future, we can add $100 million a year to the economic impact that it has. Again, not just on downtown, not just on St. Paul, but for the whole state.
Mayor Melvin Carter from St. Paul is with us. You mentioned the death of the largest property owner in downtown, and the Madison Equities portfolio is so critical to downtown St. Paul. So that has really thrown things up in the air. But let's be real. Part of St. Paul's problem is that it has always been a hub for governmental employees. And without the state having people back to work, without the county having people back to work, without your city having people back in person as often as they were before, man, I don't know what you have going downtown if you don't get XL Energy cranking and renewed and fixed up.
I'd actually go further. I think part of the problem is that downtown has been so office-centric, and we were late to the party. St. Paul was late to the party 20 years ago, thinking about downtown as a neighborhood and really thinking about how do we add housing. We need 20,000 more residents downtown. The downtowns who have weathered the storm since the pandemic the best are the ones who have a vibrant downtown residential
But that's like
community.
a 4 or 5 year plan, right? Like you could get all those workers back in a month.
Well, that's the other thing I would tell you is, we do have workers back in spaces. I think, the work from home trends have just changed globally, not just for public workers, but for everybody since the pandemic. We're in I think as of April 1, we're in a 3-day a week in the office posture for city employees. I'm there every day. My team is there every day of the week. And actually 60% of our city employees never had the option of working at home anyways, because you obviously can't sit in a police car
Police and public works, of course,
things like that. Exactly. Our largest population, or our largest job centers in city government never had the option of working from home in the first place. But we are working with our private sector partners and our public sector partners to encourage them all to continue kind of lifting up and making sure that we're all doing the same thing as far as like having people down there. I think it still is important for us to have the 4 to 5 year plan, which is why we're having these big conversations of how we can turn some of these buildings that have historically been office spaces into residential spaces.
Yeah, there's cool stuff going on
right now.
Yeah, I like the Landmark Tower. I know is going to be a pretty sweet kind of conversion that's going on over there.
That's right. And the opportunity that gives us is about a third of our office spaces are vacant right now, but 93% of our residential properties are occupied. So people get a chance to live downtown, they take us up on it. When people get a chance to throw an amazing event downtown, they take us up on it. And so, it's got me really feeling like, while there's clearly rocky roads underfoot, if we can figure out how to build the underlying infrastructure for people to continue enjoying downtown St. Paul in the ways they're already telling us they like to enjoy downtown St. Paul, we'll have something on our hands.
Mayor Melvin Carter, St. Paul, eventually you got to rip off the Band-Aid. It's been a year-long study. It's been a conversation. We've been waiting to see what the number would be, how much the state would be asked. But, we have to be honest with ourselves that St. Paul is a critical city for this state. And XL Energy is basically the driver of most of the sort of commercial business that's going on right now anyway. It's event driven. People coming down for the high school tournament and coming down for concerts and all of that. We need that to be strong. No, there's no question about it.
And Patrick's Day, we had 100,000 people out at noon on a Monday this week. It was fantastic.
Well, if you could do that every day, we'd be set, right? Like, what's the made up holiday that we can have?
Let's me and you host next Monday at noon. Everybody come out.
Well, I could be in Miami, but the next Monday after that, then I'm in. Spring break. We'll do it. Very good. Melvin Carter.
That's right.
We appreciate it. Thank you. The mayor of St. Paul asking the state for $400 million. I don't know what the right number is, but I don't see how you don't pony up. You cannot just have all of the big arenas and everything in Minneapolis. And if they think that they can do this by fixing it up instead of building a new one, you're probably saving $500 million, right? By today's dollars. Your feedback, welcome as always. 651-461-9226.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Advantage Seamless Gutters is now Advantage Home Pros. New look, same pros. Still locally owned and now taking care of all your gutter and roofing needs. Spring cleanup is just around the corner. Don't spend your weekends on a ladder cleaning your gutters when you could be spending time with family and planning that spring break trip. Trust your local gutter pros, Advantage Home Pros. Now your local custom roofing pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials. Our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Hyatt Centric Downtown Minneapolis Hotel, the lifestyle hotel in the heart of Minneapolis, where the historic Minneapolis Athletic Club meets the urban chic Hyatt Centric. Enjoy your favorite sporting event, concert, or maybe a relaxing getaway downtown. With 154 spacious rooms, you can book with confidence that there's a room to fit your needs. Enjoy a drink at the 615 Bar and Lounge, or work out in the 7,000 square foot fitness center with indoor track. For more, go to HyattCentricDowntownMinneapolis.com.
Hey, Adam Carter here, inviting you to join me December 4th as we uncover the unique charms of Austria and Germany, visiting the magical Christmas markets with Colette. We'll unpack once and stay 5 nights in Innsbruck, nestled in the heart of the amazing Alps. We'll enjoy fairy tale cities where age-old culture is interwoven into seasonal specialties. There will be plenty of time for Glühwein and shopping in all the classic Christmas markets, and we'll visit the magnificent medieval cities of Salzburg, Oberammergau, and Munich. Plus, journey by train to the alpine mountain village of Seefeld and get whisked away on an actual horse-drawn Christmas sleigh. This and so much more. Colette covers all the details, from arranging flights, meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. To learn more, visit WCCORadio.com or call Colette at 800-581-8942.
Come away with me.
That's 800-581-8942.
We interrupt this broadcast for an automotive alert. Purchase the sporty 2025 GMC Sierra Crew Cab 4-wheel drive and save thousands of dollars. That's right, save thousands of dollars on a new 2025 4-wheel drive Sierra Crew Cab. Why buy used when you can buy new for less at McCarthy Auto World? The best prices on new GMCs, period. Only at McCarthy Auto World. If you buy a new GMC somewhere else, you probably paid too much.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Jason DeRUSHA.
He is a national treasure. Like, we need that guy in our life.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I don't expect the mayor of St. Paul to admit that St. Paul's downtown is an absolute dump right now. Okay, I don't expect it. But I will tell you that. When there is not an event at the X, when there is not a game, when there is not a concert, there is nothing. There is no life. It's just reality. Maybe people are in the office 3 days a week. I don't know, man. If so, they're going to work and going home. There's just not a lot of action in downtown St. Paul right now, and the XL Energy is the bright spot. It just is. And the timing stinks, right? Like, obviously, we're looking ahead as a state. Right now, we're in a surplus, but looking ahead a couple of years, we're in a pretty big deficit. What are the priorities of this state? What do we want to spend money on? But to me, this sort of stuff is exactly what you want to spend money on. Enriches the social life to a very wide variety of people. Whether you're coming down for those high school tournaments, whether you're going to a concert, and on top of it, you got to remember Roy Wilkins is 100 years old. The River Center is 27 years old. It opened 2 years before the X. So they want to spend $50 million of this package to do a little bit of work on the River Center. River Centers are all right, but they would like to host bigger groups. Now, there is some controversy as to whether or not they move the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame. So I don't know a ton about getting the legislature to agree to what you want. But Dan, my gut says if you're asking a greater Minnesota treasure to be relocated to the big bad city, you could pretty much kiss goodbye any votes of any Republicans or Democrats on the range. But where do you draw the line? Mille Lacs North? Is that where you're pretty much hosed? I mean,
you can make an argument 694 North, but
to me, that's sort of a non-starter politically if you're trying to get state money here. Yeah. Texter says, had the legislature not wasted away the $8 billion surplus during the trifecta, I think this would actually be a no-brainer to send $400 million to the Excel.
Coming to the legislature last year and with your hat in hand, you might have had a better chance than you're going to have this year, for sure, or at least find a better reception to it. They may still get this money, and I think you're right. I think they should. But it would have been a heck of a lot easier when you're staring at a $17 billion surplus.
And it is different, right? It is interesting, the fact that Leopold lives here, is a tenant. So the city owns the arena.
Mm-hmm.
In some ways, it's very similar to the situation with the Timberwolves and Target Center, which is why I brought that up. But I think there's a different reaction to Craig Leopold than there will be to A-Rod and Mark Lowry. It's a different degree of wealth that those two guys have, but it's also like
one of us.
Yeah, like Craig lives in downtown. He's lived downtown for 16 years in downtown St. Paul. Like I think that's part of it. I think that reaction will be part of it too. All right, people fired up on the text line. No thanks. We pay enough state taxes. Don't need to blow it on this. We may pay enough state taxes, but to me, this is precisely the kind of thing that I would feel good about spending money on. 3:30, we're going to break. The biggest news story of the day is the verdict that came in astonishing order. Astonishingly fast. Amy Bach, Salim Saeed found guilty on all counts. It only took 5 hours. If it was that obvious to the jurors, what took so long for our government to stop it? We'll talk with Joe Tamborino in just a minute.
We need a quick pit stop. Then Jason DeRUSHA continues on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Let's talk about Minnesota pork. You want to talk about biggest bang for your buck? I think a pork chop is right up there. It's Jason DeRUSHA. So happy to be telling the story about these great farmers here in Minnesota. So I say it's the biggest bang for your buck because you get a local product. You're supporting the state of Minnesota. You get lean protein. So calorie for calorie, you're getting those key nutrients. You're getting all the protein your body needs to feel full and to rebuild muscle. And then, let's be real, like a lot of us are really focusing on how much we're spending at the grocery store. If you've looked at pig prices, at pork prices, well, you're probably not buying direct pig at the grocery store. If you look at a pork price right now, it's pretty dang good. Our family farmers working so hard to get that done. 3,000 of them. They're taking care of their employees, their families. And I encourage you to go to mnpork.com and read up about all of the work they're doing on the environment, taking care of the soil, taking care of our water, and taking care of their animals. I'm going to the grocery store tonight. Go to your butcher shop. Say, let's have Minnesota pork for dinner. Oh, yeah.
Now that our phones save them for us, we just don't remember numbers anymore. Excuse me, sir. What's your wife's number?
It's in my favorites.
Well, how about your mom's number?
Oh, I just tell Alexa to call her.
Your best friend?
612. No clue.
Okay, so what's the CCO talk and text line?
Easy. 651-461-9226.
Amazing.
I'll use this number more.
Memorize our number, save the rest. The CCO talk and text line, 651-461-9... crap.
Spring is almost here. What a better way to kick off patio season than with a huge showroom giveaway from By the Yard. Denny All here. From March 17th through the 22nd, you stop at By the Yard showroom, Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan. Enter for a chance to win a fire table, deep seat bench maybe, and a deep seat chair. By the Yard's maintenance-free furniture built to last, backed by a 35-year warranty. Stop by the showroom or visit buytheyard.net for all the details. By the Yard. Life is better outdoors.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. You'll get a maximum tax deduction and a vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
Hey, it's Jim Costa with Cash the Ticket. It's March, so Mike Valeni and I are all over the tournament again this year. There's just nothing like betting in March. Breakdowns of every region and every game. From conference tournaments to the Final Horn, we'll have the picks and the plays on every single game. Cinderella spotlights, upset alerts, and some of that value for the last team standing. It's tourney time, so hunker down and bet the board with us. Subscribe and listen to Cash the Ticket in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop in store online. You can find some slowing 494 eastbound coming in from East Bush Lake Road over to 35W. Had a crash reported near Penn Avenue. Not seeing anything right now on the cameras, but the slowdown's obviously in place. Crosstown eastbound slowing is Make Lake Road 100 over to Cedar Avenue. Traveling north 35W, looking good right out of Minneapolis all the way up toward the Four Lakes Split. Find quality produce at Whole Foods Market. Save on avocados from Mexico. Medium Hass avocados through March 25th. Make a bowl of limey guacamole with crispy tortilla chips while supplies last. Shop in store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
For the best windows and doors, one way to go. Pella, celebrating 100 years in business. I've been a customer for 20 years. Great opportunity now. 40% off installation, 0% APR for 48 months. PellaNorthland.com. Don't hesitate.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Pella Northland Windows and Doors bringing us Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Swing and a miss from the big storm system, at least here in the Twin Cities. The clouds will be clearing out tonight as we fall back to 24. Tomorrow looks pretty awesome. Mostly sunny with a high of 48. I think we matched that on Friday with a few more clouds. This weekend will be cooler than average. Low 40s likely. Saturday, the better day with a light mix of rain and snow possible on Sunday.
A little bit windy out there right now in downtown St. Paul. It is 41, but that wind makes it feel like 24 on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA. Now video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
The biggest COVID-era fraud that has been uncovered in the country. It is the Feeding Our Future scandal, trial, and after 4 weeks of testimony, it only took 5 hours for a jury to say these guys are guilty. And the jury says guilty. I have a little more to say about what I think about Amy Bach and Salim Saeed. Just absolutely disappointing, disgusting behavior, taking advantage of a national crisis, taking advantage of a pile of money that was trying to get food to kids in need. Nearly $250 million. But I am still astonished that these jurors got through 57 different counts in 5 hours. Joe Tamborino is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Joe, it's almost impossible to believe that they would have really count by count gotten through all of this stuff, isn't it?
Hey, Jason, thanks for having me on. No, because what they probably did is, paint with a broad brush. They heard weeks of testimony. They heard the defendants testify themselves, which was incredible, some of the things they were saying. And so they probably just arrived at, look, let's have a show of hands. Do we think they're guilty of pretty much everything? I'm sure they went, count by count just to make sure that they had unanimity. But no, I'm not surprised. The strength of the federal government's case was overwhelming. I'm surprised this case even went to trial. But you're right. All of these counts, I mean, think about it. This was the largest fraud in COVID history. In all, 70 people were charged, I think. Only two were acquitted. The rest were found guilty or pled guilty.
37 pled guilty, 5 convicted, those 2 acquitted. And Amy Bach, the stones on this woman, the whole thing, she has been charged and now found guilty of being the ringleader. She basically said, I don't know. I didn't know what was going on. I just trusted that all of my vendors who were submitting sort of accounting of how many meals they provided, I just trusted they were telling the truth. You can't blame me. This woman's a very gifted liar. Truly amazing.
Yeah, what she tried to do was the turn a blind eye defense, which is not a defense in federal court. We're basically saying, I don't know what's going on beyond, my sight. Who knows what's happening in the next office and everything like that. And the jury didn't believe it and talked about stones. How about what Mr. Saeed was saying was basically like, yeah, I deserve all that money. I bought houses. I bought cars. I mean, all these things. I am so surprised that both defendants thought they were really going to do a good job for themselves. I mean, what did their attorneys think? I could only imagine.
Yeah, it is a little astonishing. I guess maybe they figure, well, take me through the negotiation on that. Like if you're a defense attorney in this scenario and you got people who you see this evidence in the discovery phase, right? Like, what they've got and it doesn't look good. Do you try to talk your client into look, we should try to take a deal? I assume the federal government offered a deal, right?
Yes, they would usually offer something. And yes, you would talk to your client about, look, this evidence is overwhelming. And here is the stickler for federal issues. If you go to trial, and when you go to trial, you testify, and the jury finds you guilty, for sure, the federal judge is going to give you more time than what you would have normally looked at. And you tell your client that. But in the end, it is up to your client. So if your client says, look, I understand what you're saying, Joe, but I still want to testify, it is their choice.
Joe Tamborino is with us. He's our legal analyst. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook and X as well. You look at Salim Saeed, and some of what he said was like you said, was just amazing. He said that he was basically an investor in this operation. And he said he made what, $5 million, more than $5 million bucks. And he bought 2 luxury vehicles, a couple investment properties, $1 million house in Plymouth. He's like, look, I invest to make a profit. Where's the crime there? What I find interesting, Joe, is Amy Bach, who by all accounts was the ringleader of this operation. She did not appear to personally cash in. She didn't buy the big car. She didn't buy the big house. like, I don't know if she is playing the long game or if she just wasn't profiting or what. I mean, what do you make of her situation? To me, it's just so puzzling.
I agree. It's perplexing because normally in situations like this, look at all of the co-defendants. They all spent the money. They all bought cars and houses and all different things, restaurants, everything like that. And we don't see that kind of trail with Ms. Bach. Now, I think she did, pay some people large sums for whatever services they provided, but you don't have, the house on Lake Minnetonka or something like that.
Right.
So
She
funneled
$1 million, according to FBI agents, to her boyfriend's construction company.
Right.
But again, like, I don't know, man, if you're going to rip off the federal government and take money that was supposed to get food to kids, like, at least I'd be like, well, you bought a Porsche. Like, I get, all right. Like, I don't defend it, but at least I understand the game. Like this, I just don't understand.
I know. And this really, I think, scratches the surface of a lot of other types of fraud that's going on with government funds. Like throughout Minnesota, you will see different criminal investigations and sometimes charges involving home health care, home daycare. And, really, the Attorney General's office should be focusing on that. Obviously, they missed the ball with Feeding Our Future. But, the next wave is this home health care and home daycare. You see it throughout Minnesota. And, the state really needs to focus on this. Thank goodness the federal government was there with Feeding Our Future. But they're not always going to be there. They're not always going to be able to bail out the state.
There is part of this, Joe, that I look at and think, if it only took obviously it took them 4 weeks, but if a jury could look at this in 5 hours and be like, no, guilty, you do look and think, come on, like what was going on in the state that there wasn't more skepticism?
Well, you're absolutely right. The Attorney General's office and the governor's office both should have done something about this in 21 and 22, because the Minnesota Department of Education started suing Feeding Our Future in 2022. And the Minnesota Department of Education is represented by lawyers from the Attorney General's office, yet the AG's office didn't do a criminal investigation. The governor's office didn't do a criminal investigation. And it wasn't until someone from the Department of Education tipped off the feds in 23 that finally something started going. Because if it wasn't for Andy Lugar's office in 2023 and 2024, who knows? This $250 million fraud could have been, accomplished. Nobody would have been prosecuted because the AG's office and the governor's office just sat on their hands.
Joe, can some of this money get clawed back? I mean, this $1 million house or the $1 million to the construction company, does that happen now that the criminal trial is done? How's that work?
Yes, they will be going, and probably it's going on now with forfeiting different property. But in the end, they're never going to get the full $250 million. I mean, whenever you go through forfeiture work and trying to claw back, as you say, you're lucky if you get a third, maybe a half. It's really difficult to do because money gets lost.
Right.
And sometimes, like when you mentioned Ms. Bach feeding her boyfriend $1 million in different types of fees, well, who knows where that went to? And sometimes people spend it all and have nothing to show for it. And therefore, with no assets, there's nothing to claw back.
Joe Tamborino with us. I hope this was a wake-up call to the fact that, look, during COVID, the government made a choice. They knew there was going to be some fraud because they were trying to get money out as fast as possible. And I think we learned a lot that, you know what, that doesn't work. You need more oversight. Like, I understand the theory. Like, it was I think today people put today's mindset on something that happened 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, we were nervous about whether kids were going to be starving or able to eat or what was going to happen for people who aren't going to school because the schools are closed. And so we're trying to get stuff out as quickly as possible, build this nonprofit infrastructure as quickly as possible. We got to go slower. You just have to go slower. It just doesn't work.
Well, that's true. But then also think about this, though. All 50 states were involved in COVID funds. And yes, there was fraud going on in many states. But why Minnesota? $250 million, and our leaders didn't even notice it. We're the only ones. I mean, we're a state of only 5 million people. We're on the smaller end of states. We're not like California, Texas,
Right.
New York, Florida, Illinois, anything like that. And for that gargantuan amount of fraud to come out of Minnesota, something is wrong with the supervision and the governance, because that shouldn't be happening. I mean, even in states like California and New York that have, huge bureaucracies and who knows how many tens of millions of dollars go through the states, they didn't have this problem.
Joe Tamborino, we appreciate it. Thanks for the rapid response for us getting this information out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Just within the last couple minutes, we did get a statement from the Department of Education in Minnesota, and I'll share that with you in just a minute.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRUSHA coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
All right, just today I was talking to my guy at Pro Turf. It's Jason here for the amazing team at Pro Turf. I was so thrilled last year to be able to work with Dave Peller and his crew. These guys are amazing. And now that we didn't get the snow, I can't wait for my yard to emerge this spring. And Pro Turf actually gave me a couple of tips, some things you can do kind of as the sun comes out and the spring emerges. So my Pro Turf tech said, hey, to help get rid of the brown, as soon as the lawn is dry, cut your lawn about 1 or 2 notches lower than you did last fall. And the sun is going to warm the soil faster. The lawn will start growing sooner, and so you'll have the greenest lawn on the block. Now, your Pro Turf techs are already out doing spring lawn estimates. One of the things I loved about Pro Turf when I reached out was that they came to my house and they did it the old-fashioned way. They looked at my lawn. They gave me an estimate for my yard, not like some sort of computer scan or nonsense like that. Pro Turf is there for you. Online, you can check it out at professionalturf.com. They're right in Lakeville. They'll come all over the Twin City. Or you can call them 952-469-8680.
Hey, Twins fans, it's time for spring training in Fort Myers. Cheer on your favorite team at Hammond Stadium within the Lee Health Sports Complex. Then explore the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers between games. Sink your toes into white sand, discover lush nature preserves filled with wildlife, and dine on fresh Gulf seafood. Turning your love of baseball into a relaxing vacation just feels right. Start planning at visitfortmyers.com.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Hey, it's Vanita. There are so many reasons you might not be able to wait to sell your home. Maybe you got a job out of state. Maybe you bought a new home and don't want to be stuck with 2 mortgages. Contacting my friend, the Good Neighbor agent, John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty is your best bet. He gets the job done fast, sells homes for the most money possible. Brad and Laura were desperate to sell their home. They tried 2 different brokers, and both times it was the same story. Their home just sat on the market for weeks, and it didn't sell. They heard about the Schuster Group's marketing system and figured it might work for them too. It reaches thousands of potential home buyers, and it worked. Their home sold in just 10 days. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000. Online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Hey, everybody. Chris Coonihan for Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection company with over 1 million satisfied homeowners. I'm here to answer all of your home maintenance questions. I have Mary from Des Moines on the line. How can I help, Mary?
You're wrong. You'll see.
$100.
Mary, you there?
Hey, Chris, sorry. I'm calling to settle a bet with my husband. Okay, so is it better to deal with a clogged gutter now or wait until the weather's better?
Mary, the time is now. The longer you wait, the more damage you can have. Your husband may have lost this bet, but repairing your gutters can save your family thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your home.
But how much will it cost to get our gutters inspected?
Well, husband of Mary, leaf filter inspection and estimates are always free for new customers. And right now, if you go to leaffilter.com/gutter, you can get an additional 30% off.
I think I won here.
We both did. What's that site, Chris?
That's leaffilter.com/gutter. Visit today to schedule your free gutter inspection.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Urban Air, North 169, seeing some sewing, and then Atlanta Boulevard, heading up to Medicine Lake Road, and then again between County Road 81 and 610. 610 eastbound, Jan Broadway, heading over to Noble Parkway, 35E northbound. Some sewing is travel between the area of Maryland Avenue and Roselawn. Urban Air is where fun takes flight. With awesome attractions, it's always an adventure. Visit urbanair.com today to find your local park and book your tickets, membership, or birthday. Urban Air, let them fly. Attractions vary by park. Trey Peterson, Utah KPO, WCCO.
With a well-designed will, trust, and estate plan, you can have peace of mind. Choose Matt Gutman of Gutman Law to give yourself peace of mind. Call him now, 612-895-1616 at gutmanlaw.com. Gutman Law, peace of mind today for tomorrow.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Weather is brought to you by Gutman Law, Wills, Trust, and Probate Law, gutmanlaw.com. Tonight in the metro, down to 24. Tomorrow, sunny, high of 48. Friday, same deal. High's a little cooler than average this weekend. Average is 43. No snow in the Twin Cities. Some of you got hit to the south, though. It's 41 in Minneapolis on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
That is the number one addiction in America. Is there any doubt about it?
No, I don't think so.
It's not close.
No.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
We were talking with Joe Tamborino. The last time I saw Joe was when I was having lunch at the Minneapolis Club right up the street. Joe and I, Joe is a legit downtown Minneapolis resident. I'm a phony. I'm a part-timer. My little cabin in the city apartment down here. But yeah, it's part of the fun of the Minneapolis Club. You see a lot of movers and shakers. And just earlier this week, they had a big event with all their this is what's sort of hurtful, Dan. Like, now that I'm 50, they've got like the young club member happy hour. I looked at that. I'm like, well, that looks like more fun than hanging around with my people.
But all those, 40 under 40 lists.
Yeah, it's over.
Sorry, man. It was a good run.
Oof. Is there like an award category for the over 50?
There should be.
There's probably a 60 over 60 for like the real.
I think they actually call those halls of fame after a point.
That is today. Once again, I'm not on the Broadcast Hall of Fame. No. It's rough. What's it going to take?
We're going to have a concerted campaign, clearly.
Oof. Nothing worse than campaigning for something like that, though. I only like to campaign for pretend things. If you campaign for that, it's embarrassing. So before we went to break, I said we got a statement from the Department of Education. Now, the Minnesota State Department of Education was charged with overseeing the federal funds that was distributed. Now, again, I criticize the Walz administration for the fact that no one has, to my knowledge, ever been fired for this fraud that was done here in Minnesota. And also, it's not like there are 100 auditors over at the Department of Education that, those people weren't doing their jobs. So if you really want oversight, you got to fund it. You got to hire people. You have to set up systems. It's just the reality. You can bloviate and yell and scream about it. But the Department of Education is as a continuous improvement agency. The Minnesota, I'm not even going to read it. If you put as a continuous improvement agency in your press release after you failed to stop this fraud, yes, you sent it to the state and the FBI, but come on. Continuous improvement agency. I'm going to tell my kids that, like, the next time I yell at Sam for not cleaning his room, well, as a continuous improvement child.
March is National Sleep Month, and who among us doesn't want to sleep better? Well, Jordana here, and I want to share some information from my friends at Mini Leaf. If you like to late night snack, okay, we all know that's not so great for our sleep. It also interferes with melatonin production. It makes it harder to fall asleep. But here's the deal. If you're truly hungry at night, you can opt for a small protein-rich snack, like a little Greek yogurt or handful of nuts. And along with this, the effectiveness of the Sleep Night gummies from Mini Leaf is improved. I use these to get off Ambien when I needed to get off pharmaceuticals. I wanted to, and they helped me so much, and they can help you too. For National Sleep Month, make your sleep a priority. By the way, Mini Leaf is offering a buy two, get one free on the Sleep Night gummies during the month of March. Do yourself a favor. Sleep better. Let Mini Leaf help. MINNELEAF.com. Tell them Jordana sent you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you could spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Your news, your voice, your station. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. There are a few specifics from the White House on President Trump's call with Ukrainian President Zelensky today. Correspondent Nancy Cordes at the White House with what we do know.
The president says it was a good call and that things are moving in the right direction, and Zelensky said the same. He said that it was a very productive phone call, even as he continues to insist that the Russians don't actually want peace.
Stephen Stestanovich of the Council on Foreign Relations.
That both sides, particularly attaching to this, are going to make this extremely difficult. They're very far apart.
The next round of talks will be in Saudi Arabia next week. Israel today resumed ground operations in Gaza. That's on top of the airstrikes it's just restarted. Linda Gradstein reports from Jerusalem.
Israel entered Gaza with some ground forces. It says it's a pinpoint operation, nothing like what was happening a year ago.
Andrew Boreen of George Mason University says it doesn't bode well.
Really sadly, tragically, it appears that the ceasefire phase 1 is over, and tragic to see that probably phase 2 is dead on arrival as of today.
The Federal Reserve has decided to leave a key interest rate unchanged for now. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell.
The economy is strong overall and has made significant progress toward our goals over the past 2 years. Labor market conditions are solid, and inflation has moved closer to our 2% longer run goal.
But 2 rate cuts could come this year. The Fed is watching the impact of tariffs on the economy and believes the unemployment rate will tick higher along with inflation. A jury in North Dakota says Greenpeace is liable for defamation and other claims for interfering with the controversial Dakota Access Pipeline. Wendy Gillette has that.
The North Dakota jury decided Greenpeace must pay hundreds of millions of dollars in damages to Energy Transfer, based in Dallas, and its subsidiary, Dakota Access. The claims included defamation, trespass, nuisance, and civil conspiracy related to protests in 2016 and 17 against the Dakota Access oil pipeline and its crossing of the Missouri River upstream of a Native American reservation. Greenpeace denied the claims. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
The Vatican says the Pope is doing better and doesn't need an oxygen mask anymore. He's been hospitalized in Rome for more than a month with double pneumonia. A powerful storm is sweeping across the nation's midsection, bringing snow, high winds, and the possibility of hail and tornadoes as it makes its way east. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials finished the day 383 points higher. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You could save big when you bundle your auto, home, motorcycle, RV, or boat. Visit Progressive.com.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 39 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. It took just a few hours for a jury to find Amy Bach and Salim Saeed guilty on all counts in the Feeding Our Future fraud case today. WCCO's Taylor Rivera joins us live from the federal courthouse in downtown Minneapolis. Taylor?
Hi, Laura. This comes after 5 weeks of testimony and 28 counts to consider. Prosecutors say Bach was the ringleader in the plot that took in over $250 million from the federal child nutrition program during the pandemic, while her accomplice Saeed set up multiple fake food companies to front the scheme. Lead prosecutor Joseph Thompson said the evidence in the case against Bach in particular was overwhelming.
She cut every single check, all $240 million worth of checks to every defendant in this case. She was involved in taking kickbacks. Witness after witness testified to her role in the scheme.
70 defendants in total are believed to have taken part in the crime. Bach and Saeed were taken into custody pending sentencing, which will happen at a future hearing. Laura?
All right. Thank you. WCCO's Taylor Rivera live in Minneapolis. Our other top story today, federal and state charges are now filed against Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn. Hennepin County prosecutors charged Eichhorn with 1 count of prostitution, while he was also charged in U.S. District Court with 1 count of attempted coercion and enticement of a minor. Eichhorn was arrested Monday after making arrangements to meet who he thought was a teenage girl under the age of 18. Minnesota Republican Party Chairman Alex Plekish telling Vanita Sokar on the WCCO Morning News, Eichhorn needs to resign.
Republicans hold their own to a higher standard. So if Eichhorn refuses to resign, we support his immediate expulsion from the Senate.
Eichhorn makes his first court appearance in Hennepin County District Court tomorrow afternoon. A bill introduced today in the Minnesota House looks to give veterans more protections when trying to receive their benefits. DFL Representative Emma Greenman says an accreditation requirement would protect veterans from losing their benefits to claim sharks and fraudsters.
With one of these claim sharks, the only person on the hook for that is the veteran, even if maybe they didn't know that was happening, right? But in this case, if you have someone who's accredited, they have the same duties and fiduciary duties to that veteran. And so they're on the hook too. And that's really important.
And a Minnesota House committee today hearing a package of bills designed to lower health care costs, including one that would bar insurers from dropping coverage on a medication in the middle of a plan year. Elliot Boutai testified on behalf of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, Minnesota.
People with mental illnesses often find it takes several trials of different medications to find the ones that work. And once you find what works, you don't want to make changes.
Several insurance industry representatives testified against the idea, saying sometimes changes in coverage can't be avoided. Other bills being considered would require pharmacy benefit managers and health insurers to accept prescription drug rebates and include lower cost drug options in their plan offerings. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Shop and store online. You can find things running fairly decent across most of the metro. Some slowing west of Highway 10 near Hanson Boulevard. If you're traveling west 694, got a little bit of congestion there from Central to 252. 35W southbound near 35th Street. Possible crash being reported. Things a bit sluggish out of downtown. Save on seafood staples at Whole Foods Market. Get 25% off select raw shrimp with Prime through March 25th. Add blackened shrimp tacos with spicy mango salsa to your weeknight dinner menu. While supplies last, shop and store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Clogged gutters? Call the pros. Advantage Home Pros. With the highest quality workmanship and materials. Seamless gutter installation, cleaning, and covers. Our trained, knowledgeable local pros can handle it all. Trust the pros. AdvantageHomePros.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Advantage Home Pros. Find them at AdvantageHomePros.com. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The storm moves out. The clouds clear out tonight, dropping back to 24. Still a little breezy. Tomorrow looks pretty muddy. Mostly sunny with a high near 48. The wind will be fairly light. Mostly cloudy on Friday. I think we matched that high up near 50. It will be cooler than average this weekend with some light rain and snow possible on Sunday.
Cloudy and windy right now, 39 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Your station for news.
2022 midterms.
There's a lot at stake. Your station for talk.
I keep coming back to this station, and thank you for what you do.
Your station for everything that matters. News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie. Just DeRUSHA. It's drive time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise.
I'm super excited to introduce to you
Jason DeRUSHA.
Well, what a busy afternoon in the news, right? The newsroom tracking the guilty verdicts on Feeding Our Future. The perv legislator accused of soliciting someone he thought was 17 for sex turned out to be a detective. He's charged in federal court. I mean, it's going to be easy for this guy to resign his legislative seat, right? It's going to be hard to go home to his wife. That's what I think in that story, right? Imagine this guy's wife. Because today with the criminal complaint, and you can read through some of the details on the criminal complaint, because, like, I will say, I'm not familiar with the vernacular you use when you're trying to respond to an online ad about prostitution and what you say. But, like, he appears to know the lingo. You know what I mean? Text message in the criminal complaint, according to Bloomington PD, when he's responding to this ad, and he texts first at 3:04 p.m. on the 11th, or at 9:04 p.m. on the 11th, didn't get a response. Text again later that night, didn't get a response. Texted again March 12th, so the next day. So, like, I get it. Like, men out there listening to me, you don't want to be ghosted. If you send a text, you want to get a response. If you are responding to an ad for a prostitute, about time number 2 and not getting an answer, it might be a detective, right? Like, I mean, all right, so you tried time number 3. And that time she responded. And the defendant asked about rates and locations. And so the detective says, well, what are you looking for? Now that's where I guess, like, I would not know how to respond to that question, right? Like, is there a menu? I don't know. It's all disgusting. And then he knew exactly, I don't want to go into it, but he responds with some abbreviations. It's disgusting. Just within the last 25 minutes, the governor, Tim Walz, gave a news conference, which I was listening to for a bit. He joined the chorus, the universal chorus of people calling for this Republican state senator, Justin Eichhorn, to step down. I mean, everybody. Republicans have called for it. Democrats have called for it. The governor has called for it. Now, the governor also did call for Nicole Mitchell to step down, and she is not. So I just want to preempt people who are going to, well, what about? He has. And today he was asked about it, and he renewed that he thinks she should step down. So we'll keep an eye on all of this today. I mean, if you haven't been plugged in today, like, it doesn't look like Aaron Rodgers is going to be our quarterback.
Thank God.
Well, you know what I'm floating now, and I'm not the only one. But the Vikings are looking for a veteran quarterback, right?
It's a capable backup veteran type guy, yes.
We had a pretty capable
Kirk.
Why not?
We're gonna go Kirk.
Why not?
Because Kirk doesn't want to be on the bench. That's why not.
Well, Kirk played like dog poop last year, and he's going to be on the bench.
Is he?
So why not? Yes.
Is he?
I think yes.
Because there's several teams out there that are in desperate need of a starting quarterback.
Do they want a ride on the Kirko chain?
I don't know, but if I'm Kirk, I'm calling them before I'm calling the
Well,
Vikings.
sure. But, like, let's say he doesn't get any of those guys.
If he doesn't have any other
I'd take him
option-
back. Why not?
Well, if Kevin O'Connell
back up for the youngsters.
If Kevin O'Connell was comfortable that Kirk was going to be okay with that role, then yeah, sure. He's a capable guy you could have sitting on the bench.
Be fine. You know, he could coach up J.J. McCarthy. I wouldn't mind Kirk coming back. I gotta be honest, I wouldn't really mind. I wouldn't mind Aaron Rodgers.
Well, look, I mean,
I don't
for
care.
the purposes
It's a backup
of us in the media,
gold.
it would be fantastic, right? But if you're a Vikings fan and you just want what's best for the team, no, he's completely toxic, and it would be a terrible experience.
Well, that's what you say.
Yes, that is what I say.
Joe Flacco. He's still out there, right?
That's one of the names you hear in.
He's
fan
40.
about. He's old. He had Cleveland in the playoffs a couple of years ago. Last year, remember, he was quarterbacking the Colts when they played the Vikings, and that did not go well for Mr.
Yeah.
Flacco. So I'm not really. But again, Matthew Collar, who's on the station all the time, has
Right.
said this repeatedly. He says, "Look, if you're at a point as the Vikings where suddenly who your backup quarterback is really important, your season's already in.
Yeah,
major,
you're
major trouble."
hosed
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Ryan Tannehill is the other name that I've seen bandied about. a
yeah,
bit.
his name is out there. He didn't play at all last year. So
Do you think
kind of
that
red flag?
is the backup quarterback? Like, normally, I think the backup quarterback position is sort of the fan favorite.
Sure.
Right? Like, we love to talk about the back.
Yeah.
But the reality is, as you said, it does not, really, it doesn't really matter. Except the fact that you have a totally unproven rookie quarterback who's never played a single down of an actual NFL game. So to me, it does seem like, all right, I get the bit. Like, we talk about, like, this is a big collar thing that we talk. It's the least important position.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean,
I just say in this circumstance,
in this particular set of
it
circumstances,
feels a little different.
it might be a little more important.
Not much.
but only slightly. Because again, it kind of comes down to money, right? You're investing in JJ McCarthy, not a ton of money at this point because he's still on a rookie contract.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. You can invest a ton of money in a backup and a veteran quarterback because your whole salary structure is predicated on having a cheap starting quarterback.
Yeah.
So whoever you're going to bring in is going to be somebody with all kinds of flaws and question marks and red flags and all of the things.
Yeah.
And so again, yeah, I mean, is there perhaps a greater chance you might need to make a move to that guy in this context than in others? Maybe, but you're still hosed if you have to do that.
We're going to break a little early and save some time for a conversation that I think it's time to knock off the way that Minnesota has been doing this. In Minnesota, it's state law, it's tradition that kids don't go back to school until after Labor Day. Now, this year and next year, Labor Day is a little late. I don't know. It's going to be on one of 7 days, sort of is how it lands, right? But so it's sort of late. Some movement in the legislature to say, let's change this. And I agree. It is stupid that the state tells local school districts when to start school. I think it's time to change. What do you think? 651-461-9226. We'll talk about starting school before Labor Day next.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA is hitting the off-ramp for a quick stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Why don't you come with me to Greece? What are you doing October 12th? Probably nothing. Come with me to Greece and collect. Athens, Greece. You know, the real Greece. Athens, Santorini, Mykonos. It's going to be amazing. And I have a great opportunity for you tomorrow at noon. Tomorrow at noon, we're doing a Zoom call. Man, I know a lot of you guys listening have thought, wouldn't it be cool to sit on a Zoom call with DeRUSHA? Oh, baby. Give me an oppa. Your dreams have come true. We'll talk about the trip. Colette will talk about all the details. They handle the flights. They handle most of the meals. They've picked out the hotels. They'll move your luggage. They book local guides to give you experiences that you would not be able to get otherwise. The most fun of it is that we all hang out. And in fact, today I saw my friend Lisa, who came with us to Portugal. And I say my friend because she was my friend after going to Portugal. I didn't know her before. And we met over the lunch hour today. She's awesome. You will meet friends. There are people who come alone. There are people who come with a couple, with a buddy, with a spouse. Come to the Zoom to learn more. WCCOradio.com/Greece. That's where all the information is. That info session tomorrow at noon. WCCOradio.com/Greece.
We're speaking with UCare's Albert Reed. Can you tell me what the difference is in original Medicare, Medicare Advantage, and Medicare supplement plans?
So original Medicare is your basic foundation. It's comprised of two parts. That's going to be Medicare Part A, which is hospital coverage, and then Part B, which is the medical coverage. Medicare itself is designed to cover about 80% of your overall medical costs with no out-of-pocket limit. And then you have your Medicare supplement plans. They're designed to help cover the other 20% that Medicare leaves off. Great for folks that want to pay one monthly cost and ensure that their costs are covered for medical. And then lastly, there's Medicare Advantage plans will combine all the benefits of Part A and Part B and likely will include Part D.
Okay, so why UCare?
We're friendly. We have a local customer service available 7 days a week. We do have a large dedicated broker network that's willing to take all the time needed to help you find the right plan to secure your long-term health.
For more, contact a local broker and visit ucare.org.
Adam Carter back on CCO for my friends at Dodge of Burnsville, the DOB. And you know this, nobody moves more Ram trucks. That's why they're the king of Ram. Most inventory? Check. Most Rams sold? Check. And how about top-notch service? Yes, another check. Right now at the Dodge of Burnsville, they got some seriously low rates on new Ram trucks. How low, you ask? What if I told you they have 1.9% for 72 months on select 2025 Ram 1500s? 1.9%. Lease one right now. I'm talking about a brand new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for just $365 a month. And if any of you are driving Chevys or Fords or whatever, get an extra $1,500 if you're driving a Chevy, Ford, GMC. And for those of you leasing a current Ram truck, you get an extra $2,000 off. Those deals are red hot right now, and those rates are so low at the DOB. Take advantage. Come find your new truck today. 35 and Cliff, or shop online at thekingofram.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Jason DeRusha.
Who can say that they don't care about something with more passion than me? My passionate indifference is what makes this show special.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Beautiful. It's dumb that we force every school district in the state to wait until after Labor Day for kids to go back to school. Labor Day in 2026 is September 7th. 2027 is September 6th. Making school districts wait until September 8th to go back to school is, I would say, idiotic, but school districts should be able, at the least, to do whatever they want to do. In Minnesota, there is a state law that essentially requires all school districts to start the day after Labor Day. And the reason for this is because the high school kids who work at resorts, and because a lot of families supposedly take one last vacation that final Labor Day weekend. Now, I will say this. When my kids were at those younger school age years, no way in hell we were going on vacation 2 days before school gets started again. So I don't know. I am, look, I don't expect that my life is the official. Actually, it is. The way I live my life is how the rest of you should live yours. There is a bill from Cheryl Yoakum, DFLer from Hopkins, who wants to give school districts the flexibility to make their own decision. You could start. Now, her bill, of course, just showing like how powerful the lobbyists are for the resorts, is this bill would only give school boards the ability to start the school year early during these 2 years. So September 7th or 6th, too late. In 2028, when it's September 4th, that's just fine. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. 651-461-9226. I'm not saying that districts should start before Labor Day. I am saying that districts should have the ability to make their choice. 2 texters asked, what about the state fair? Good question. So when the state fair, there were a couple of years that Minneapolis was involved in a test program where they had kids go back to school early. And the legislature said, all right, like, you guys think starting early will help your test scores, help your performance? Go ahead, give it a shot. You know what happened? It did not help their performance. So the legislature said, no, we're not letting you do this. There's a very limited time. You're allowed to do it if you have some sort of crazy construction, but otherwise that's it.
And the state fair went along just fine?
I believe the fair was
collapse
fine.
And turn into complete anarchy?
I believe our resorts were fine.
One of the caller called in and the phone was a little garbled, but did point out too that Education Minnesota, obviously, the teachers union is going to have a huge say on this. And do they?
Yeah, if you're adding days, especially if you're adding days.
If you're adding days, for sure. But I mean,
if you're just shifting time around, I guess I don't really care, right? If you say we're going to start earlier and end earlier, I don't know. I don't know. Do you have a strong opinion on that? I guess I don't really have a strong opinion if you're just shifting the days around.
I mean, to me, it wouldn't seem like it should make a huge deal, but we're talking about organized labor, and if they feel like they've got a lever,
as they should,
that's their job. So
that's what you do.
So I could see them deciding that they're going to resist this for some reason or try to use it in terms of getting something else for it.
Yeah.
But I think the overarching principle that you keep going back to, and I think is the right one, is unless there's an overwhelming interest from the state to tell districts this is the start date, giving districts the default should be districts should have the flexibility to start when they want.
That's what I think.
And at least even if you want to set parameters and say, on years where Labor Day is later in the week, at those years, school districts can decide to do, set some sort of parameters around. So it's not just, free for all, you start whenever you want. Even if you want to do that, to me, the default should be local control unless there's some overriding principle the state needs to be involved.
651-461-9226. Clearly, you don't understand the economics of tourism to the state, small businesses, and Minnesota families that rely on it. We just disagree. Like, you don't have to say, I don't understand. Like, yeah, I understand. Hospitality. That industry is 12% of all jobs in Minnesota. It's $2.3 billion in tax revenue to the state. Hospitality is very important. In Minnesota, if you're running a resort, you already have a challenge because our summer tourist season is only 12 weeks long. Spring sports run longer than ever. Graduations run into June. Fall sports start in August. Like, I get it. And also, fall sports already started.
Yeah. And we're talking about we're talking about a handful of days here. We're not talking about weeks.
No one's going to start on April 10th or August 10th. That's not going to happen. But I just think this is a very old-fashioned law based in a time when the workforce of our hospitality industry was reliant on high school kids. I don't think we are anymore.
We do that kind of law very well in Minnesota.
It's always been this way. It's always been. I mean, are the high school kids really staffing these resorts? I don't think so. I don't think so. You know who's really staffing these resorts? It's immigrants. It's people on work visas.
Oh, don't say that.
What is the benefit of starting before Labor Day? Asks a texter. What is the benefit of mandating the Labor Day start? I would ask.
The benefit of starting before Labor Day is keeping you from going to the middle of June when it's sweltering hot in schools that don't have air conditioning.
I mean, either way, you run into the issue. But to me, this mandating from the state doesn't make sense. Texter says, my high school in Ohio started August 15th last year. My sister's a school teacher in suburban Chicago. They start around the same, August 15th, 16th. I do believe there's still tourism in those states. Somehow, they keep it going. Texter saying, Stillwater area schools start the middle of August this year, which I assume there's some sort of construction going on that's allowing them to do it. I don't know. Because usually there's a state regulation on this. In Stillwater, their early start, they're trying to end the year just before Memorial Day is what they're planning on doing. But I assume the state had to approve that. I don't really know the full story.
Also, the proposal here is not mandating that anybody start before Labor Day. It's giving districts the freedom to make that choice in and of themselves. So if you're in an area where there's high levels of high school kids working in tourist spots, and those businesses want to appeal to the school district, hey, can we make sure and stay after Labor Day? You know, the community can work that out.
Work it out. I think the concern is that if everyone goes back earlier, you're going to lose out on that last weekend of families going on vacation. And, you know, I guess I would want to see some more compelling evidence to indicate that money will be lost, instead of just relocating to other parts of the year. And when it comes to state fair, there are too damn many people at the state fair already. You know what? If we shaved off 10,000 people a day, it'd be fine by me. We are going to rank your favorite conspiracy theories. Oh, it's the release of the JFK Files today. Paul Fletcher joins us to rank his favorite conspiracy theories. One of our weirder rank you very much is coming up.
More Drive Time with DeRUSHA is on the way following these messages on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Spring is almost here, and that means spring lawn care for me. That is Pro Turf. It's Jason here for my team at Professional Turf. I started with them last year and already signed up again this year. Couldn't wait. This lawn looked so good last year. They got rid of the brown. They got rid of the weeds. My lawn looked awesome, and they can help you as well. Now, landscape. Many of us are going to think about home improvements outside the house. Landscape time is now. You want to get on the books? If you still have the landscape from when your house was built, go reach out to ProTurf. They provide professional design at no charge. It's included in your landscape project purchase. And the other thing I'm thinking about right now is irrigation. When's the last time you had your lawn irrigation system professionally started and serviced in the spring? For me, it was last year, and I called Pro Turf. It's a Minnesota family-owned business. Pro Turf has been getting it done since 1982. Who else would you call? Call my people. 952-469-8680. That is professionalturf.com.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. And if you think this is just a cosmetic problem, think again. Varicose or spider veins, if left untreated, can lead to swollen or discolored legs, cramping, the inability to stand or walk, neuropathy, even worse, blood clots, which can travel to other parts of your body. But here's the good news. Advanced Medical Vein Treatment Centers offers plans that treat and cure the condition, not just cover up. Grab your phone, take down this number, and call 800-809-7989. That's 800-809-7989. When you call, you'll get free information on how you can live your life to the fullest again. Walk, exercise, sleep well. Your vein problems will not go away on their own, and in time can lead to major health issues. Call Advanced Medical Vein today for free information on fast and easy solutions that are covered by most insurance plans, Medicare included. Call 800-809-7989. That's 800-809-7989 today.
March is National Sleep Month, and who among us doesn't want to sleep better? Well, Jordana here, and I want to share some information from my friends at Mini Leaf. If you like to late night snack, okay, we all know that's not so great for our sleep. It also interferes with melatonin production. It makes it harder to fall asleep. But here's the deal. If you're truly hungry at night, you can opt for a small protein-rich snack, like a little Greek yogurt or handful of nuts. And along with this, the effectiveness of the Sleep Night gummies from Mini Leaf is improved. I use these to get off Ambien when I needed to get off pharmaceuticals. I wanted to, and they helped me so much, and they can help you too. For National Sleep Month, make your sleep a priority. By the way, Mini Leaf is offering a buy two, get one free on the Sleep Night gummies during the month of March. Do yourself a favor. Sleep better. Let Mini Leaf help. MINNELEAF.com. Tell them Jordana sent you.
Calling all hockey fans. It's your last chance to experience the NCHC Frozen Face-Off at XL Energy Center. Celebrate the end of an era on March 21st and 22nd with tons of fan-friendly fun and excitement. Enjoy FanFest and thrilling hockey all weekend long. Get your 2025 NCHC Frozen Face-Off tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Cleared out of the way, South 35W, 35th Street. Traffic still a bit heavy as you come out of downtown Minneapolis. West 94 slows, Riverside into the Lowry Hill Tunnel. Crosstown eastbound, got your slowdowns Gleason. Over to Valley View, over on the east side of the Metro, East 94, flowing nicely right out of St. Paul, heading toward the border. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical systems are the utility players that keep your home safe and comfortable. If you need help keeping your star players performing, Aquarius has you covered with $98 off any repair. Visit AquariusHomeservices.com today.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Aquarius Home Services brings us Chris Schaefer.
Swing and a miss from the big storm system, at least here in the Twin Cities. The clouds will be clearing out tonight as we fall back to 24. Tomorrow looks pretty awesome. Mostly sunny with a high of 48. I think we matched that on Friday with a few more clouds. This weekend will be cooler than average. Low 40s likely. Saturday, the better day with a light mix of rain and snow possible on Sunday.
41 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
When he showed up, when he ever did show up, it wasn't very nice.
There's other instances, though, where he just shows up places and he's like this great guy. But I've also heard that he can be quite difficult.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Thank you very much.
Big day for conspiracy theory fans, and who among us isn't? The JFK Files have been released. Well, the second batch of documents has been released. 64,000 pages. Will it ever be enough? No. That's the beauty of the conspiracy theory. There's always a pivot. There's always a new approach. And that's why today, Paul Fletcher and I are saying, rank you very much to our favorite conspiracy theories. Paul, are you a conspiracy theorist?
I mean, I don't devote a ton of my time, but yeah, I mean, who doesn't like that? It's fun. It's interesting.
I think it's fun. The idea that the government is hiding something from us is, I mean, highly likely, isn't it? Not necessarily on this particular issue, but like on all issues, I assume they're hiding stuff from us.
I think that that's probably pretty accurate. I mean, there's actual physical proof. Area 51, they're hiding that. We're not allowed to go in it. So that's whether there's anything big and hairy actually housed at Area 51, they are hiding it. And so that proves your statement is accurate. So,
I mean,
and I think there's probably way more than that.
There are some serious parts of this, right? Where, like, I do think as a country, we are way over classifying information. So you slap that classified designation on stuff, it never expires. And here, the fact that it is March 19th of 2025, and we're getting documents from what happened with the investigation of the assassination of a president so long ago is
Insane.
It's insane. It's insane.
It is. It's insane. Yeah.
So
and it's crazy that this is the president that's declassifying them, of all guys.
Well,
kind of surprised
he does love his classified documents. I mean, you gotta bear that in mind. It's a lot of documents. I don't know. I mean, it is amazing that for sure AI and our computing technology can analyze this stuff much more quickly. In the past, you would have to, you'd have to read through 63,000 pages of documents. That's sort of what the bit would be.
I'm waiting for the Cliff's Notes.
Me too. I'm going to be honest. I mean, and frankly, unless the headline is the CIA assassinated John F. Kennedy, I'm not that interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, I'd be curious, was it Cuba? Was it Russia? Was it the mob? Was it Lee Harvey? Was it, maybe somebody that was testing a high-powered potato gun?
Could have been.
An accident. Could have been a potato cannon.
Oh, who among us? Paul Fletcher is with us. We're ranking conspiracy theories, and people should follow you on social media. Hey, Paul Fletcher. So,
hey, Paul Fletcher.
Do you want to start?
Sure, I'll go first.
All right. You're number 3, and these are just, we're not saying if we believe in these.
No.
We just enjoy them.
It's either something that is entertaining or ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just like I have a tough time wrapping my head around it, or I don't believe too many conspiracy theories, actually. It's just more of an entertainment thing for me. My number 3 is the whole flat earth thing. I mean, you think like it's crazy. Like when this thing started, it was like 500 BC or something.
Well,
like
it wasn't,
that,
I mean, it wasn't really a conspiracy theory. It was just a theory, right?
Yeah, I suppose back then, but then it was reasonable. You couldn't get up in the air,
you
didn't know.
Yeah.
But then, I read it resurfaced 2010 is when it came back, and now it's just flat out absurd. I mean, all you need, and these people don't, they don't believe anything that they're told, nothing that they don't put their own eyes and ears on. I tell you what, spend the $300 on a plane ticket and just go up in the air, and that'll solve it for you. That's all you need to do. It's that simple. Take a hot air balloon ride. You don't have to get that high.
That's true.
That's the part. It's so.
Go to still water balloons. You can disprove it just with a simple
on a clear
balloon.
day. You could
a dirigible,
on a
just
clear
a
day.
simple dirigible.
It's that's to me, I think part of what puts it at number 3 on my list is that it's so easily disproven, and it's so absurd that I can't do it.
I like it. My number 3 is the New Coke conspiracy. Do you remember this?
No.
So, do you remember New Coke when they brought?
I do.
I think it was like the mid 80s or so when that came out.
Yeah, wasn't it Pepsi-ish?
It was
New
Pepsi.
Coke?
Yeah, it had like, I don't know. So there was a big conspiracy theory that this was intentionally done to get people mad, to drum up new support for the original Coke. And then they could bring back the original with like cheaper ingredients.
But that's not even, is that a conspiracy theory though? It's more of like a palate cleanser and good marketing.
Well, but it's false. It didn't. That's not what happened. So
It's not?
No,
It makes total sense.
it would be brilliant.
I'm in on that actually.
It would
I'm
be
in on that
brilliant.
theory.
It's a no.
I'm in on this conspiracy theory.
It's not.
I buy it.
All right. Well, that's the beauty. Like, I can't refute it because what would you expect? What would you expect me to
I mean,
say?
that's honestly that if that was their reasoning though, that would make total sense.
Yeah. It would be brilliant.
That's easier than admitting a misstep, which is what it was, right?
Yeah, it was a misstep.
Is that-
It was terrible. But the head of Coke said, "Come on. Well, the truth is, we're not that dumb, and we're not that smart." This is a pretty good quote. Okay, let's.
That's actually a great quote.
It's pretty good. Let's keep the conspiracy theories coming. I want to know your favorites at 651-461-9226. Paul Fletcher and I will reveal our top 2 conspiracy theories in just a minute here on CCO.
Jason DeRusha and Drive Time needs to make a brief pit stop on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get 2 windows free for every 2 you buy, plus 0 down, no payments or interest for 2 years. It's Jason. You know who I'm talking about. Window Nation. This is no conspiracy theory. Window Nation brings the showroom to your house. They're local, right here in the Twin Cities. They got thousands of satisfied customers. Do not overpay for expensive windows that may not be as good. Schedule that fast, free estimate. Do it now with the pros at Window Nation. Go to 866-90Nation on your phone or dial them up online, windownation.com.
Thinking about buying or selling a business, the right legal team makes all the difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aids.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions, so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
I'm John Taft, Vice Chairman of Baird. For over 100 years, Baird's people and expertise have made a difference in the financial advice and services we provide. Our experts on 3 continents combine diverse backgrounds and perspectives to meet your needs. Being nationally recognized as a great place to work helps Baird attract the best people in our industry to advise you. Experience a different kind of financial partnership. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdTwinCities.com.
You can do this. Why? Because no one cares more about your money than you. Right now, many have concerns about their retirement, their investments. Are these mutual funds a poor investment? Did you know that with the average fees of 2%, you could be missing out on upwards of half of your potential retirement dollars. That's pretty high for management, especially when 75% of these funds underperform the market. At Trading Academy, our mission is to empower you to take control of your investments. Text investing to 210-210. Take control of your financial future. Maybe it's to just have a better conversation with your broker. Sign up for a free investing class, local classrooms, one-on-one mentoring, how to protect your investments against inflation. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Activity off the right side, North 169, Plymouth Avenue. That's helping to slow you down as you make way toward 394 with a mix of stop and go stuff. West 94 remains congested and jammed up Riverside into Lowry Hill Tunnel. 694 watching slowdowns in both directions between Highway 100 and Central Avenue. Trey Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Jason DeRUSHA here. The Canopy Group represents 16 different insurance companies, not just one. They give you options. Each year, they'll review your program so you don't have to, making sure you get the best coverage at the best price. Do like I did. Go to thecanopygroup.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Hey, don't forget, in 40 minutes, we're doing Enough. So use the Odyssey app where you listen live to WCCO. Click on the microphone. Send us a message. What have you had enough of? Maybe it's winter. It's over tomorrow. Mostly sunny, high of 48. Friday, same deal, 48. Pretty average. 43 is the normal high for this time of year. Right now, it's 40 in Woodbury on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Video streaming live on YouTube and always on your radio at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Rank you very much. Continuing with our friend Paul Fletcher, we rank nonsense every week. Well, not nonsense. This week we're ranking something very serious. Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So many options to choose from. You've ranked number 3, which for you was Flat Earth. For me was New Coke. And now your number 2 favorite conspiracy theory.
You know, I want to give a shout out to one of the tweets. I didn't know about the NBA rigging.
Yes.
With the frozen envelope of Patrick
Frozen
Ewing to the
envelope
Knicks.
theory. This is so good.
Yeah, that got multiple mentions. So shout out to those. My number 2 is it's actually, you know me. I've got my finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world, right?
Okay. Yeah, no doubt.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
My number 2 is JFK assassination.
It's
It's low hanging fruit. It's super easy, especially on a day like today. But I just, I assess these, and there are lots of the Twitter feed, response to yours.
Yeah.
Open my eyes to a bunch of little silly ones that are out there that I had no idea even existed. But we're not ranking frivolous nonsense. We're ranking the most insane or crazy conspiracy theories, and JFK is number 2 because
it's hard to argue. It's been the stuff of movies, of books. It's lingered all these years. Today, such the frenzy over the documents. Yeah,
it's a part of our vernacular. It's part of our it's ingrained in our culture and our conversation. You reference it at times and you don't even realize you're referencing it. It's as much a part of the world as you mentioned Coke last with yours. It's as much a part of the world as Coke. It's crazy. So I don't think we need to go in deep into all of the different theories. There are tons of them. And I'm not a big Bill O'Reilly guy, but his book, what is it called again? It's the JFK. Who killed John F. Kennedy?
Bill O'Reilly from JFK. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That book is actually really good. I don't read a lot of books, but I read that and it was actually really good. I'm not a big fan of him, but the book was great and it laid everything out, and I felt like it was relatively fair. And it was beyond interesting because it went into everything. So
it was called
that's my number 2.
Killing Kennedy, the end of
Killing
Camelot.
Kennedy. That's right.
Killing Kennedy.
Yeah.
So that is a good one. My number 2 is a local one, proving that some conspiracy theories
I know where you're going.
are true. Some of them are true. So for years, the Minnesota Twins and the Metrodome denied that they monkeyed with the ventilation system, that they had the fans blowing in, or they were trying to blow the air up and out to try to make it easier for the Twins to hit a home run in late innings. And they always denied it. They're like, come on, like, no. The Twins said no. The Metropolitan Sports Facilities Commission said no. We didn't manipulate the airflow. We doubt it. My friend Matt Hoy, who runs operations, he said, I don't know that this theory holds a lot of water. Well, back in 2003, guy named Dick Erickson.
Lo and behold,
Dick admitted he did it. He would go in there and he would mess with the settings and he would mess with the fans and he was trying. Now, did it work? That's a different question. But the reality is the conspiracy theory was that the Twins were using the Metrodome to its full advantage. And the conspiracy theorists were correct. They were correct.
That's the best. That's a great one.
I love,
and the fact that it's real. The fact
it's
that it
real
happened is the best. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, I love it. Well done. Well done.
Number one, Paul Fletcher, your number one conspiracy theory.
Oh my God, it's just so ludicrous. The Paul is dead conspiracy theory, that Paul McCartney of the Beatles is dead. Now, first of all, we've seen him a lot. And I mean, but that's what makes this conspiracy theory so amazing, is that we've seen him a lot and they go, yeah, we know. That's because he died in 1966 and he was secretly replaced by a lookalike. Like, what? What are you even talking about? Like, how do people come to this stuff? They think that it's more far-fetched for him to actually be alive than it is for him to have died in 1966 and was replaced by a lookalike.
Yeah.
Who's got the same writing chops and performing chops as the original Paul McCartney, the actual. I mean, they cloned him essentially in 1966, apparently.
It's pretty
Think
good.
about it.
You know what?
I'll
I'll believe that he's alive after the government releases the documents, right? Like, I want to see the papers.
The British, I think it's the Parliament, right? That would have to release the documents
That's very
that says Paul is indeed alive.
That is very good. My number one is that the moon landing was faked.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
It lingers. I know, I'm not going to name them, but I know very intelligent people who genuinely think that it was faked, that the 6 different landings, that the 12 Apollo astronauts didn't actually land on the moon, that it was some sort of sound stage in Hollywood or something. It is amazing that people still think that it's faked. Even though, like, if you Google moon landing conspiracy, like, the top 10 results are debunked. Moon landing conspiracy theories, debunked. One giant lie. Why so many people still think the moon landings were fake? It was not faked. And we know this because the Mythbusters guys, like, tried to prove it. They in fact, that's all the evidence I need. All the scientists around the world can prove whatever, and I'm not going to believe big science, but I don't think the Mythbusters are going to lie to me, you know?
I think that especially Carrie is just not the type to lie.
No.
She's one of the Mythbusters.
She wouldn't.
And I may or may not have had a crush on her. So
quite fetching.
She was a pretty girl with a big brain. So yeah. I mean, this is like it to me. It's, you know, you get JFK, you've got the moon landing, that these things that are like larger than life. The conspiracy theories, I mean, are larger than life. And this one is, you know, it's as good as any, because it's just like,
yeah,
you can't just accept. Like, these are people that are lost.
They were there.
They're lost. They're lost, and they're looking for things.
That's
and
right.
Apparently, this is where they find it. It's an
Paul,
absolute.
It's come to
nonsense.
my attention that there are people, conspiracy theorists, who think that we taped this segment earlier in the afternoon and don't do it live. Can you imagine that?
Are you serious?
Yeah, crazy.
Wow. Yeah, that is absolutely bonkers. I can prove that we're live right now.
All right, go ahead.
You want me to prove it to you?
Do it.
It it is right now at this exact moment. It is 41 degrees and it's windy.
Wow.
So
wow.
There you go.
Debunked. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. Well, we're done. Just like
That's
that.
it. It's over.
All right.
Paul,
See you later then.
Very nice. Lots of texts coming. I did get a text that said I'm wrong about the moon landing. The astronauts didn't really land on the moon in 1969. They landed somewhere in the Grand Canyon. Well,
Yeah, no, they did.
there it is.
They landed on the moon.
A lot of people like the twins conspiracy theories.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
They tried. I don't think it's not as much of a conspiracy series. Contrails? How about the contrails? 17% of Americans believe that contrails have like some sort of chemicals in it or something. We're doomed.
At Metro Heating and Cooling, we offer the highest quality products at comfort zone pricing. We won't try to sell you what you don't need. Metro Heating and Cooling and Plumbing. Honest, reliable, and affordable. Metro Heating and Cooling. MetroHeating.com.
Hey, it's Jason here from my friend Chris Lindahl. You know Chris is the arms wide open guy. I know Chris is my friend and the most innovative and clever marketer of homes in the business. So this is uncertainty season, right? Our weather is always keeping us guessing. Is it going to be a shovel or an umbrella? Is it sunscreen? Is it shorts? What are we doing? Uncertainty is everywhere. So don't be uncertain about this. If you are looking to sell your house quickly, the Chris Lindahl Guaranteed Cash Offer program is so much faster than going on the open market and so much more certain to get you to closing day. So the housing market, interest rates, the economy, you have no control over this. But would you accept a guaranteed cash offer from my guy, Chris Lindahl? You can guarantee that you're sold. You pick your closing date. You pick your moving date. Get to the website today, chrislindahl.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-488-1329. That's 800-488-1329.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Where breaking news meets real-time reaction. News Talk 830 WCCO 1029 HD2 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. President Trump worked the phones again today to try to bring an end to the war in Ukraine. He spoke with Ukrainian President Zelensky and offered a unique proposal, as Linda Kenyon reports.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says, among other things, the president discussed Ukraine's electrical supply and nuclear power plants.
He said that the United States could be very helpful in running those plants with its electricity and utility expertise. American ownership of those plants would be the best protection for that infrastructure and support for Ukrainian energy infrastructure.
The call follows discussions between Trump and Russian President Putin a day ago, during which Putin agreed not to target Ukraine's energy infrastructure, although that pledge was violated hours later. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
The administration remains at odds with some judges, including one who ruled against deportations of migrants last weekend. Caroline Leavitt today.
We have judges who are acting as partisan activists from the bench. They are trying to dictate policy from the President of the United States. They are trying to clearly slow walk this administration's agenda.
Israel launched a ground incursion in Gaza today, and Linda Gradstein reports it's raising concerns in Israel.
The majority of the public feels that military pressure is not going to work. What's worked so far is some sort of a diplomatic agreement, and there's been growing frustration and anger at the prime minister.
The Fed is leaving a key interest rate unchanged, but signaled 2 cuts will come this year. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
The Fed has to wait and see how uncertainty
and tariff tit-for-tat and escalation, how that impacts the economy, the labor market, and the inflation rate.
Egg prices are heading down. Christopher Cruz has that.
Wholesale prices have dropped because the number of bird flu outbreaks has declined, as has consumer demand. When will we start paying less? David Anderson is a professor of economics and business at Center College in Danville, Kentucky.
It does take time for the producers to come back online with hens.
Shoppers in areas where there are a lot of competing stores should see lower prices sooner than those who live in places where there are just a few grocery stores. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
A powerful storm is sweeping across the country. Meteorologist Craig Allen.
This is bringing snow and heavy amounts of snow with blizzard conditions across much of the upper plains and upper Midwest. Norfolk, Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, Omaha, Sioux City on up to Rochester, Minnesota.
And roughly 72 million Americans have been under a wind advisory or warning, some wind gusts topping 45 miles per hour. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now from Minnesota's radio station, let's get you caught up with Minnesota's latest headlines and biggest stories on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 38 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. Guilty on all counts. The two defendants in the most recent Feeding Our Future fraud trial are now behind bars after being convicted by a federal jury this afternoon. Amy Bach and Salim Saeed were accused of orchestrating a $250 million scheme to defraud the federal government of funds that were meant to feed children during the COVID pandemic. Lead prosecutor Joseph Thompson.
The fact that they returned a verdict so quickly after such a long trial, I think speaks volumes as to the job the team did, and frankly, the amount of evidence against the defendants and how awful their fraud scheme was.
Thompson says the evidence against Bach, the alleged ringleader, was particularly overwhelming. Both Bach and Saeed are in custody until their sentencing hearing, which is not yet scheduled. Republican State Senator Justin Eichhorn has his first court appearance tomorrow after being charged today with both state and federal crimes. Hennepin County prosecutors charged him with one count of prostitution. He was also charged in U.S. District Court with one count of attempted coercion and enticement of a minor. Minnesota Republican Party Chairman Alex Plekish telling Vanita Sokar in the WCCO Morning News he's personally very troubled by Eichhorn's case.
And it deeply hurt me. It's one of those things that's actually beyond my comprehension of the ability to wrap my head around this. I feel very badly for his family, his wife and his children. And I think that comes first. That's the first thing came to my mind. But, we have to deal with it now. And, I can say it's a very sad day for us.
Eichhorn was arrested Monday after making arrangements to meet who he thought was a teenage girl under the age of 18. Plekish and other Republican leaders are calling on Eichhorn to resign, as is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. If he refuses, Plekish says Eichhorn faces immediate expulsion. ABC News reporting this afternoon, the St. Cloud State University student who was with college student Sudiksha Kunanki the night she went missing on a spring break trip to the Dominican Republic is headed back home tonight. A judge ruled he was free to go after Kananki's parents said they now believe that she drowned in the rough surf and that Joshua Ribby was not involved in her death. A Minnesota House committee hearing a bill that would prohibit health insurance providers from dropping medication coverage in the middle of a plan year. Several industry representatives testified today against that idea, saying sometimes changes in coverage can't be avoided. DFL Representative Tina Liebling says that's a tired argument.
We have been hashing around this problem for a really long time. And there's always some reason that the industry comes up here and tells us, oh, that just doesn't work. Oh, that's not fair to us. Baloney.
The measure is part of a package of healthcare policy bills, and state troopers have been busy today responding to several jackknifed semis in southeastern Minnesota, where today's dumping of snow has been doing a number on the roads. The snow is expected to clear out over the next few hours. WCCO News Time is 5:06.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Drive is good. Just minor slowdown. South 35E is make way out of downtown St. Paul, heading down to Grand Avenue. If you're traveling across town, you got speeds below the posted, making the run between Cedar and Valley View. North 169 on the heavier side of things, Minnetonka Boulevard to Highway 55. Terry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, it's Adam Sable with Dodge of Burnsville, the king of Ram. Right now, during Ram Truck Month, get 1.9%. That's right, 1.9% for 72 months on select 2025 Ram 1500s. Get your next truck here at Dodge of Burnsville or shop online at kingofram.com.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Brought to you by Dodge of Burnsville. Find them at kingofram.com. And here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
The storm moves out. The clouds clear out tonight, dropping back to 24. Still a little breezy. Tomorrow looks pretty munny. Mostly sunny with a high near 48. The wind will be fairly light. Mostly cloudy on Friday. I think we matched that high up near 50. It will be cooler than average this weekend with some light rain and snow possible on Sunday.
Cloudy right now, 38 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
What's happening? If it's happening in your neighborhood, if it's happening in the Twin Cities, if it's happening in Minnesota, it's on News Talk 830 WCCO. No suit, no tie, just DeRUSHA. It's Drive Time. Live from the WCCO studios, high atop the Odyssey Tower.
You're watching the cool brainwashing 12-year-old and younger station that hides behind a slick image. We're so cool that we decide what's cool. And now, here's your host,
Jason DeRusha.
I tell you, it's been one of those days around here. Super busy in the news. So many big stories. And Dan, I've been running around like just an absolute loon today. As you well know. Like there are some days where you're like, what happened to my day? What happened?
I'm not a fan of those days personally.
No.
I like my structure.
Oh, you do like structure.
I do.
Yeah.
So I get awfully anxious when
my day started with, so I didn't get a chance to talk about this the other day, but underneath your car, most of us have like a dust protector. And it's like a fiberglass kind of material. And I drive a very sexy, very fancy car, the Kia.
Yes.
But the Kia is a low rider. It's a low rider.
Uh-oh.
And so if you scrape the bottom of it, sometimes you knock that dust panel off.
Not good.
And you drive around making they call it an underbody shield, by the way.
Sure.
But when you drive around, you make so dang much noise because it's scraping the whole time. So for the last 2 days, I've been driving around the Twin Cities like this. I like to make an entrance, but that's
a little much.
It's a little much. Let's make the DRUSHA. It's been fixed. That was where my day started, and I don't think I sat down until I came in here at 2:00 today. Nobody cares. Let's do the DRUSH Hour news headlines.
Now, time to get you caught up on some of the biggest stories of the day. These are the DeRush Hour headlines.
Good evening. Our top story.
This just in.
Our top story.
We begin tonight with.
We begin tonight.
We begin with the lead.
And we begin with the nation's most significant fraud of the COVID era, the mastermind and perhaps the most brazenly confident swindler, both found guilty on all counts, a month-long, 5-week-long trial. It took 5 hours to deliberate after hearing 30 witnesses, a mountain of evidence, and the jury said these two are guilty as hell. Amy Bach, she was the accused ringleader of the whole thing. And then, Salim Saeed, 36, used his restaurant as a meal site, said that overall, the FBI said that he netted more than $1 million off of one meal site in St. Cloud. He admitted to earning at least $5.5 million. So far, the federal government has clawed back about $75 million of the money that was swindled away. But there's a lot of money that's fallen through the cracks for sure. Glad to have these two guilty and facing time in prison as well. That is our first story of the lead. Let's talk about another big number. You think $250 million of fraud is big? How about $400 million, where Minneapolis Mayor Melvin Carter is asking for the state of Minnesota to help fix up XL Energy Center, the Roy Wilkins, and the River Center. The X is for sure the main bright spot of downtown St. Paul in the post-COVID era, where government workers have not come back to their offices downtown in any sort of significant way. At the same time, the largest property owner of downtown died, and his widow said, I don't want all of these buildings. And so that 1-2 punch has been very difficult for St. Paul. The city is asking the state for $400 million. The whole project will get money from the Minnesota Wild, $216 million. The city and the county, $159 million. But we asked Mayor Melvin Carter about that $394.6 million in a time of tight budgets. That is a big number.
The other piece I'll say, you're right, $400 million is a whole lot of money. That's the economic impact that that building has on our state tax base every year. And if we're able to do this renovation, that number will go up to $500 million a year. That's pretty critical. And I think it highlights that in an economy like right now, it's not only important for us to put a real fine-tooth comb on every dollar we spend. Right now is the time where it's absolutely critical for us to think about what are the returns that taxpayers are going to get.
I think the mayor's exactly right, but the timing couldn't be worse. At a time where the state of Minnesota is concerned about its own budget, about the future forecast, going and asking for $400 million is going to be a tough sell. But we also need to be honest. Downtown St. Paul needs this. And so what are we going to do as a state? Are we going to let this downtown just be nothing? Or are we going to shore up a 25-year-old building that is sadly outdated on the backstage aspects of it? Much more to come on that topic. Minnesota law enforcement is looking to be more aggressive in busting stoned drivers. It is a major challenge as more and more people are using marijuana and using it legally. We have good portable breath tests, the breathalyzer, to figure out if you've been drinking too much. There is a pilot program that the Minnesota Department of Public Safety tried out, and they recently analyzed that and gave a full report. And Mike Hansen, the director of the Office of Traffic Safety, is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline. Mike, it's good to have you with us. How did this pilot program work?
Well, Jason, thanks for having me on today. And in a word, the pilot project proved to be a very successful test of the instruments, and it helped us to learn a lot about the instruments, but also about what's going on Minnesota roads as far as drug impaired driving.
How do you test somebody to find out if they're, if they're high?
Well, it's, there's a lot of components that go into any impaired driving arrest, but specifically when we're talking about the technology and the instruments that we tested, basically what the instruments are doing is taking a look at an oral fluid sample that a driver would provide, and then the instrument analyzes that oral fluid sample. In roughly about 5 minutes, it will indicate to the officer either a positive or a negative for 6 different drug categories.
Huh. That's pretty cool. I mean, the technology is pretty cool. I think the amount of time, is that an okay amount of time if you're a state trooper or somebody doing this kind of, it's like a cotton swab type thing, like a Q-tip test?
Yeah, it's something like that. It's a little bit more technological and a little bit involved. In
it's a fancy Q-tip? Is that what you're telling me? Come on, Mike.
Yeah, it'd be that's a good way to put it. I like that. And, 5 minutes, certainly we want to minimize the amount of time that officers, troopers, and deputies are spending at roadside. But even when we look at using a preliminary breath test or a PBT for alcohol, that's a couple-minute process in itself. So it's a little bit longer, but it's also strongly beneficial for that officer to have this technology available to them.
No doubt. Mike Hansen, Director of Office of Traffic Safety. These devices cost about $5,000 a crack, and then each test costs about $25 on top of it. What do you guys need? What are you asking the state for?
Well, we've turned the report over to the legislature, which asked us to prepare it and gave us the authority to conduct the pilot project. So they're analyzing and taking a look at the report and, taking a look at what next steps could look like. So, we need to have legislative authorization before we can deploy this type of technology. So that'll be a decision that the policymakers in St. Paul will be looking at in the coming days.
Got it. Mike Hansen, Director of Office of Traffic Safety. We appreciate it. Thank you. Minnesota United has really one of the biggest opportunities that they have been keeping track of. And they are getting to play probably the most famous soccer player in the world. The most famous soccer player in the world, Lionel Messi. But a report came out today that those tickets aren't selling as quickly as I sure would have guessed because fans are skeptical that Messi will actually play. I wanted to know if this is true. And Manny Lagos, the Chief Development Officer, soccer legend for Minnesota United, is with us as part of the DRUSH Hour lead. Manny, tell me it's not true. Are these tickets really selling a little? Are there still available tickets for this Inter Miami Lionel Messi opportunity?
Jen, maybe we could come on the radio show. You'll throw me a softball to start the interview? Jeez, welcome. No,
I called you a legend. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
That helps my ego a little bit. I appreciate it. No. I will say this, we obviously sell out every game.
Right.
And this is a very special game because you're right. This isn't just an event where it's anybody. It is the greatest player in the history of the game. It's a player that still is playing very well. He has intentions of playing in the next World Cup, which will be here next year. The reality is these last tickets are a really high price point, and they are expensive, and we understand that. And we purposely stayed in Allianz Field because we wanted most of our fan base to see this and have that experience of playing that game there. So we decided to have it at Allianz Field versus moving it to US Bank, where we probably could have, as a club, made a lot more money and maybe gotten more people exposed to him. But the experience at Allianz is so special. It is aware, and our fan base is aware that he has had some injuries the last couple of weeks, although I think he'll be healthy in a month. So I'm pretty positive that our astute fan base will wait a little bit closer to game time before they snatch up those last bit of tickets, which will go. I mean, ultimately, some of our fan base will also realize it is him, it is Messi, but they also have one of the most historic forwards in Luis Suarez on the roster, one of the best defensive midfielders in Sergio Busquets, one of the best outside backs in Jordi Alba. They are a stacked team. So I am pretty confident we'll get there in the end. But we have an astute fan base. They want to make sure and see where Messi's at injury-wise before they pull the trigger.
It is so interesting, right? And obviously, I would like to say, now I'll give you the softball. I give you guys so much credit for keeping this thing at Allianz Field, which is such a special place to watch soccer. And it's such a tribute to your longtime supporters to not sort of screw them over by saying, oh, we're going to US Bank, or we're going to wherever, where you'll be in a different seat and you'll have a different view and whatever. Like, I just think it was really cool and really smart. Also, Lionel Messi hasn't seemed very enthusiastic about playing in non-soccer specific facilities because, he's not a kid and he doesn't want to hurt himself. And I get that too.
Yeah, and the turf as well. Yeah, there's no doubt. Yeah, we obviously our season ticket holders, they're all set. And there was about 5,000 more seats to sell. I think we just got a little bit, maybe like about 1,600. And they are pricey. We did upsell because the market will drive it. And ultimately,
you guys should make the money instead of some bozo ticket reseller, right? You may as well price it for what the market is.
That's the softball I'm looking for. Exactly right. But it's going to be a fun day too. We're going to have some great activations. We've got the great lawn at the stadium. We do some great music stuff.
Go see the new Loons sculpture, the whole bit.
Oh my gosh. And by the way, we're, the United Village. I don't know if you saw in the news the other day, they're starting to uptick the development of that area, hotel, offices, restaurants. So it's a good time. It'll be a very special day for Minnesota soccer. I mean, I've said that a lot, but it'll be a really cool day. And like you said, there is not, we're flush with amazing stadiums for our sports teams in this market. And Allianz Field is the pride of the league, so it'll be a fun day.
All right, April 6th, you got New York City here. You got Toronto here on the 12th.
Whoa, keep switching around. Those are away.
Oh, those are away. I got it backwards. So
those are away. No worries.
So don't go to those. We got.
Yeah.
What's your next home game then?
This Saturday, 3:30, LA Galaxy, defending champions, the team that ousted us in the playoffs last year. That's another, great. We're going to have a great crowd. It's going to be great energy. Looking forward to it. It's kind of a little payback, I think, for our club.
All right. So the 22nd, and then another home game with Salt Lake coming to Allianz on the 29th. So get those tickets. And now I got it right. And if you know somebody, if you have a rich friend, grab up those $10,000 Messi tickets. What the heck?
There you go.
Really good.
Well, again, like I said, I think it's going to be a fun couple months. We're off to a really good start. We did have we got a point on the road in Kansas City last week and played great soccer up 3-0. We ended up kind of giving up the lead, but I just think the group has started out really strong. We look good. We will be without some starters because of the international break. We got 5 guys missing, so a little bit of adversity for us against the Galaxy, but right now, I think a lot of the pundits would say that we started much stronger than them and have looked better. So I expect a really fun atmosphere this weekend, and I expect the guys to bounce back from. Right. Like I said, we still got a point in Kansas City, but it did feel a little disappointing.
Manny, good stuff. You're right, right there with the top teams in the Western Conference right now. So look forward to some good soccer. Thank you, Manny.
Cheers,
Manny Lagos with us from Minnesota United. That is the lead. Page 2. Coming up in just a minute. Let's talk about a rent control change in St. Paul. A local baker about to go big time, and Lizzo back at First Ave next.
Don't touch that dial. More Drive Time with DeRUSHA coming up on News Talk 830 WCCO.
I want you to remember J.H. and Sons. J.H. and Sons at the Galleria in Edina. It's Jason. I was just at J.H. yesterday. I'll be back there tomorrow to pick up a little outfit, cute little outfit that Kevin helped me pick out for Miami. Why do I have to go pick it up? Because they tailor it. Even I bought a pair of jeans and they're like, let's hem this and make it look great. That is their focus at J.H. and Sons at the Galleria. It's all about making you look your best with expert service. Now, the clothing lines, this is best of the best. Best fabrics, best design, best fashion. Spring is so fun over in the store. So much color and pattern all over the place. And on top of it, wedding season is right around the corner. And there's nobody better than the team at J.H. and Sons. Go see Kevin. Go see Dean. Go see anybody over there. And they will take care of you. Tell them you heard about it on CCO. He told me there's been a bunch of Drive Time listeners out there trying on clothes. Make yourself part of the crowd. Go see them at J.H. and Sons.
At the University of Minnesota, our goal is to make sure what happens in Minnesota doesn't stay in Minnesota, because the discoveries we're making have implications for the health of the world. From the cancer-detecting AI model we built in Rochester, to how we're redefining mental health in Morris, to breakthroughs we're making in Crookston, Duluth, and the Twin Cities. Our discoveries start here, but they make the world healthier everywhere. The University of Minnesota, driven to discover.
Hey, it's Vanita. Getting your home ready to sell. It's a daunting process. You know how it goes. It's emotional for a lot of people. to start a new chapter of their lives. Contacting John Schuster of the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, is a good way to start the process. Erica and Eric just sold a home with John. It was their second property. They didn't want the hassle of fixing everything up. They wanted to sell their home as is without sacrificing any equity. John assured them taking a cash offer below market value was not worth it. He could sell their home for more without adding hassle. He delivered on his word, and there was so much less stress for Erica and Eric. Their home sold quickly for $10,000 more than the asking price. Contact John for full details. 952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Spring is almost here. What a better way to kick off patio season than with a huge showroom giveaway from By the Yard. Denny All here. From March 17th through the 22nd, you stop at By the Yard showroom, Woodbury, Maple Grove, or Jordan. Enter for a chance to win a fire table, deep seat bench maybe, and a deep seat chair. By the Yard's maintenance-free furniture built to last, backed by a 35-year warranty. Stop by the showroom or visit buytheyard.net for all the details. By the Yard. Life is better outdoors.
Oh, honey, it's our favorite leaf filter trusted pro, Matt. Matt, come in, come in.
Hi, Mrs. Sparks. You wanted me to stop by? Is everything okay with your leaf filter gutter protection system?
Okay, of course, silly. We wanted you to stop by for dinner as our way of thanking you.
Yes, to thank you for that free gutter inspection, the free estimate, and what was the other thing?
That lifetime guarantee.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Sparks, those are just Leaf Filter's policies. Everyone who calls Leaf Filter gets a trusted pro to come out for a free gutter inspection and estimate. And every Leaf Filter installation comes with a lifetime guarantee.
So it's not just us?
No, sir. We don't want anyone to worry about clogged gutters ever again.
You mean everyone gets this level of service?
Everyone. They just need to visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule their free inspection.
Okay, but you must be starving. You work so hard.
Ready to love your gutter protection as much as we do? Visit leaffilter.com/deal and get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
Sometimes I feel like a completely different species than everybody who thinks that that might be fun.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
While I was talking about JH and Sons, my guy Kevin texted me. He's like, so I hear you're picking up your outfit tomorrow morning. It's like, yes, this is how I communicate with. Is there anybody else I need to respond to their text? I could just say it over the radio. Time for page 2 of the DRUSH Hour News headlines. A rent control change that, my gosh, I hope it gets going again in St. Paul. We'll see if the city council will put this through. TwinCities.com, the Pioneer Press, reported that 3 members of the St. Paul City Council want to introduce a major amendment to the rent control ordinance. You know, the voters approved this ordinance. It's been very controversial. Developers have pretty much stopped new construction over there. Even though the city has backed down from some of the initial rules. So developers are arguing that the 3% cap on annual rent increases is stifling financing. They can't get financing. So how are you going to get new housing if you can't get financing? The proposed amendment would permanently exempt buildings constructed after 2004 from the rent cap. The mayor proposed this last August, but at the time the council wasn't interested. 3 say they're in. You need 4 to pass it. We will see. A local baker is about to have her stuff in grocery stores all over the Midwest. Yeah, it's the Swedish chef. Yeah, I would 10 out of 10 buy like a Swedish chef line of.
Oh,
frozen.
1,000%.
Yeah, right? Like, come on. I also 10 out of 10 would and have bought the frozen line from the Buttered Tin. So we've had Alicia Hines on our show. She's the owner, the founder, the pastry chef of the Buttered Tin. They're in Lowertown, St. Paul. They're in Northeast Minneapolis. Bring me the news reporting that the Buttered Tin is putting their frozen cinnamon rolls in Whole Foods all over the Midwest. So not just Minnesota Whole Foods. They'll be in Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Michigan, Missouri, Ohio, and Wisconsin. Alicia was a Cupcake Wars winner. She's awesome. And those cinnamon rolls, that frozen cinnamon roll, it is the exact same recipe she uses at the bakery. Whole Foods has pretty strict ingredient requirements, and they required no alteration. I've had those frozen ones. They're good. They are good. Lizzo back live at First Avenue. Pretty cool review from Chris Riemenschneider in the Minnesota Star-Tribune. He writes in a word special. The title of her last album, the second last song she sang, Special, summed up the whole concert from last night at First Avenue. Equal parts homecoming and comeback. The venue is 1/10 of the size of where Lizzo typically plays. It helped her become famous after Prince made it famous. She performed a lot of her earliest gigs there in the early 2010s when she lived in Minneapolis. The last local gig was at the X, 2022. She got her own star painted on the iconic alumni wall, too. And she fought back tears on stage as she talked about that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. That's the DRUSH Hour News headlines, page 2, and the lead. It's what we do at 5 o'clock. At 5:30 on Wednesdays. We've had enough. Dan, I've had enough of this day.
Me too.
We both have some pretty good grievances, rants. I want yours at 651-461-9226. We love a voice message on the Odyssey app. So if you've had enough of some mundane, minor thing in your life or something major, we want to hear about it. Use the talkback microphone right next to the Listen Live button on the Odyssey app.
Jason DeRusha returns shortly with more of Drive Time on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Hey, let's go to Greece. You want to go to Greece? Come on. What are you waiting for? I love taking listeners on these trips with Colette. We did it in the Canadian Rockies. We went to Banff. We went to Portugal last year, and this year we're going to Greece. And there are only a couple of seats left on our trip, and I want you to have one of them. So to answer your questions, we're doing a virtual meeting tomorrow at noon. What are you doing at lunchtime tomorrow? Eat your lunch, hop on a Zoom, dream of going to Athens. This metropolitan city has so much history and so much going for it today. Then we go to Mykonos, and then we hop to Santorini. We're taking ships to get from Athens to Mykonos and Santorini. These sun-drenched islands, bright rooftops. You've seen the pictures on social media. It's unbelievable. The Greek cuisine is top-notch, world-class. You're going to have all of this taken care of. Colette handles the details from the flights to the meals, the hotels, local guides who bring us on amazing excursions. You just have to have the time of your life and do it. Join me on Zoom tomorrow. We're doing it at noon. Go to WCCOradio.com/Greece. And even if you can't make the Zoom, go to the website and sign up. Join me in Greece. WCCOradio.com/Greece.
Some things in life just aren't reliable, like the check engine light that only comes on after you've broken down. That motion sensor faucet in the airport bathroom.
When was this building built? The 40s?
Like that buddy who swears he'll help you move, but on the day of... Trust isn't given, it's earned. For over 100 years, when it's mattered most, Minnesotans come here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I'm looking out my bedroom window on a cold morning this winter, and I feel it. It's Jason DeRusha here. I called the local team at Window Nation. They've got the best quality, energy-efficient windows, so I can get rid of those drafts and get rid of that dew and the water that collects. Save some money, increase the value of your home, and right now, you're getting 2 windows free for every 2 you buy, plus 0 down and no payments or interest for 2 years. Get a fast, free estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com.
Thinking about buying or selling a business? The right legal team makes all the difference.
difference. At Helmuth & Johnson, our team specializes in sophisticated mergers and acquisitions, guiding you through every negotiation, contract, and closing with skill and precision. From due diligence to deal structuring, we are 100% client-focused, protecting your interests so you can focus on success. Big or small, we make complex transactions seamless. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side, for all of your business needs.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to goodrx.com/GLP. That's goodrx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Attention! Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-885-1010. 800-885-1010. Again, that's 800-885-1010.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Drive's looking pretty good. As cruise the system, you'll find those typical slowdowns for West 494, Lindale to Penn Avenue, eastbound 394. That's jammed up 100 into downtown Minneapolis. North 35E minus slowdowns past Maryland Avenue. Speeds at the posted beyond that as you continue up to the Forest Lake Split. 94 westbound cruising at the posted speeds. Hemlock Lane to Highway 241. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
Let's get that weather forecast thanks to Flint Hills Resources, partnering with Minnesota Wild. I'm wild about reading, which you can learn about at wild.com. Here's Chris Schaefer.
Swing and a miss from the big storm system, at least here in the Twin Cities. The clouds will be clearing out tonight as we fall back to 24. Tomorrow looks pretty awesome. Mostly sunny with a high of 48. I think we matched that on Friday with a few more clouds. This weekend will be cooler than average. Low 40s likely. Saturday, the better day with a light mix of rain and snow possible on Sunday.
15-mile-an-hour winds gusting up to 30 right now in Brooklyn Park. It feels like it's 24, but it's 40 degrees here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
You look like maybe you're about to recite some poetry or sit in a corner with a little glass of wine and pontificate about something.
Yeah.
Yes, very debonair.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I have had enough. Enough is enough. Enough.
It is time for the airing of the grievances. You've had your fill. You've had enough. Can't take it anymore. 651-461-9226. That is the CCO Talk and Text line. We welcome your calls. We welcome your text. We welcome your voice messages using the Odyssey app. Just click on that microphone right next to where you listen live and send us your messages. Dan, I would like to start and say I have had enough with looking at 2025 college tuition costs.
I bet you have.
Young Samuel has been accepted to some very wonderful university.
Well-deserved and good for him for all that hard work.
We're proud of him.
Absolutely.
And if you have not looked at college tuition lately,
don't.
I think don't. So one of the schools that Sam has been accepted to, I looked up their tuition the other day.
There's your first mistake.
$73,000 a year. $73,000.
Elizabeth.
It's a great school. Sam would like to go there.
It better be.
$73,000. This week I read that Harvard is making tuition free for families who earn under $200,000.
I saw that story. Why couldn't Sammy get into Harvard? Come on, Sam.
But Dan, it's for families who make under $200,000 too. I know you don't think I make that much on this show, but I'm married to
I didn't
banker.
factor in Alyssa. That's right.
Yeah, I could get.
No, I know you don't make that on this show.
But I
didn't factor in your wife. You're right.
Yeah.
That's my mistake.
Yeah, Dan was excited for me.
I was excited for Sam. Who doesn't want to go to Harvard?
I mean, if you can get in. Look, you sound like a jerk if you complain about financial aid going to people who literally need financial aid.
Well, there is that.
And we're fine. We're fine. And also, how about you help a guy out? I got to fill out the dumb financial form.
Oh, FAFSA's the
I got to fill
worst.
out the FAFSA.
Oh, it's
There's
terrible.
another one that you got to fill out. There's I don't know. There's two of these dumb forms. You fill them out. And even though they're going to tell you, hey, cool, you can pay the full price. You're uploading this and scanning in that. And brutal. So I have had enough of looking at. I've had enough. I'm not fed up with looking at college tuition. I suppose I'm just fed up with the number. This weekend, we're going to Miami to check out the University of Miami and also to go to Miami, right? Spring break.
I mean, yeah, you just go to Miami, right?
When I was a kid, do you remember how glamorous MTV made spring break seem when we were young?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just thought when I got to college, it was just going to be babes in bikinis and as far as the eye could see.
How'd that work out for you?
I never went
I
anywhere
didn't
for
either.
spring break.
I didn't either.
You know where Seth, the college kid, is going this year?
New Jersey?
He's meeting us in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Which, let's just say my mental image of spring break, which is 100% because of MTV.
Yeah.
Would we have known about Lake Havasu?
No. No, of course not.
Any of these places.
No.
Yeah, so Miami, I'm hoping it's is it going to be full of debauchery? I don't know. But
You're going to be there, so there's a chance.
I think I have passed the age range.
You have?
Yeah.
That's
and
unfortunate.
Olivia helped me out, right?
Sure.
If I'm gonna go on the beaches of Miami. All right, so that's my enough. Dan, you have a good one.
I have had enough already, and the tournament's barely even started. I've had enough of brackets. We need to knock off the brackets. And I mean on all levels, right? I mean, for the tournament itself, it's frustrating because you can do all this work and prepping and studying and trying to figure out which teams are on a roll and which ones aren't, and which ones have the right types of players for tournament play as opposed to regular season. You can do all that stuff. And then some knucklehead from the office pool puts in a bracket based on colors or their favorite mascots or whatever, and they win the whole
thing.
bleeping thing.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. Brackets are dumb. We should have any bracket. And then everybody else that tries to jump on the bracket bandwagon.
Yeah.
Hey, let's do our brackets for, vacation destinations or whatever the local newsies are. All of those ideas need to be strapped to a rocket and shot into the sun. Those are terrible. They're awful. Stop it. Enough with the brackets. I've had it. Enough.
You don't like any bracket?
No brackets.
So
None.
this is not March Madness specific.
I mean, March Madness is at the core of my hatred for brackets. Yes. But everything else, the ripple effects from March Madness, all of it. Get rid of all of it.
So one of our coworkers created, every
more than one has.
Well,
I keep trying to mute these email conversations, and they keep creating new ones.
One coworker did like a real bracket, and then another created a weekly bracket.
Terrible.
So if your bracket is busted after the round of 64 and 32, no problem.
After your bracket is busted, you should hang your head in shame and walk away.
I don't think so. But this spreadsheet is very, very complicated. So I got to pick.
No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. We don't have to participate. You don't have to get sucked in to this bracket nonsense and waste all your time and all your money on these stupid brackets. You don't have to do it, Jason. I'm offering you a lifeline away from the brackets. Let them go.
I have to do it.
No, you don't.
Because my coworkers who are doing this, I don't want to let them down.
The coworkers that are doing this are going to be just fine whether you're involved or not.
No, they're going to judge me.
No, they will not.
Yes, they will.
And even if they do,
now my brother-in-law, I just
them.
got the text from my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like, hey, is your bracket ready to go?
Come on.
And so we're all going to do this because, they're like young nephews in the group. And so you're going to suck it up and do it. But now he's like, hey, also, does anyone want to do fantasy baseball?
Oh, my gosh. Fantasy sports. Don't even begin to get me going on fantasy sports.
I'm a hell no.
My disdain for brackets times about 47 gets you to my disdain for fantasy sports.
Dan hates brackets.
Enough.
I hate college tuition. I got another enough when I come back. Yours are welcome. Lots of text about brackets and spring break at 651-461. 9226. Enough continues in a minute here on CCO.
Drive Time with DeRUSHA is back after this on News Talk 830 WCCO.
So I was on the Tureen Dermatology Instagram the other day, and I saw that they opened another Tureen. It's Jason here. And I like to think it's because I've been telling so many people how awesome Tureen Dermatology is, that so many of you are going online or calling in, and they're like, well, I guess we better open another location. Lakeville is entering the chat. Brand new location, number 8, Lakeville. You get a Tureen Dermatology. It's at 17305 Cedar Avenue South. This is awesome for the South Metro. Tureen is already in Eagan. They're in Hudson. They're in Roseville. They're in Monticello. They're all over the place. Tureen is taking over the Twin Cities. It's because their level of care is so good. And you get in within 3 weeks. My father-in-law just went this week and saw Dr. Mohiba Tureen. She's my dermatologist. Call up and ask for the best. You deserve it. Tureen Dermatology. You can make that call at 651-633-6883 or make it easy. Make your appointment online and do it at Tureen, Tareen, dermatology.com.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. An important message about your timeshare from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. Contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about timeshare cancellation.
Call 800-408-4040. That's 800-408-4040.
Imagine placing an investment or trade without fear. Knowing that big institutions have taken the same trade as you, pushing the price higher, which only they can do. You get to ride the wave of institutional demand. If not, your plan will protect you from the downside. This is how our students are taught to invest in trade. Right now, you can sign up for a free investing class where we'll outline our strategy for following the smart money. Text investing to 210-210. We'll also review strategies for growing a retirement portfolio, how professionals profit when stocks are falling, and how to protect your investments against inflation. With a 25-year history, local classrooms, and one-on-one support, you're not alone. And now it's your turn. Sign up for a free investing class today. Text investing to 210-210 or go to learnwithota.com.
Adam Carter back on CCO for my friends at Dodge of Burnsville, the DOB. And you know this, nobody moves more Ram trucks. That's why they're the king of Ram. Most inventory? Check. Most Rams sold? Check. And how about top-notch service? Yes, another check. Right now at the Dodge of Burnsville, they got some seriously low rates on new Ram trucks. How low, you ask? What if I told you they have 1.9% for 72 months on select 2025 Ram 1500s? 1.9%. Lease one right now. I'm talking about a brand new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for just $365 a month. And if any of you are driving Chevys or Fords or whatever, get an extra $1,500 if you're driving a Chevy, Ford, GMC. And for those of you leasing a current Ram truck, you get an extra $2,000 off. Those deals are red hot right now, and those rates are so low at the DOB. Take advantage. Come find your new truck today. 35 and Cliff, or shop online at thekingofram.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Now on CCO, let's do traffic and weather together. First, a check of the drive and what shape the roads are in.
Drive is good. It's 694 running at the posted speeds and no delays between 35E and 252. Traveling north 35E out of St. Paul. Still running smoothly there as well as you come up from 94, heading up to Conroe 96. Over on the west side, west 94. No delays to report as you move between Hemlock Lane and Highway 241. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
We interrupt this broadcast for an automotive alert. Purchase the sporty 2025 GMC Sierra Crew Cab 4-wheel drive and save thousands at McCarthy Auto World. Why buy used when you can buy new for less at McCarthy Auto World? If you buy a new GMC somewhere else, you probably paid too much.
Forecast time with an update on current conditions and a quick look at what's ahead the next few days.
McCarthy Auto World. Find your next GMC at McCarthyAutoWorld.com. Tonight, 24. That's the low. The winds are 5 to 15 miles an hour, kind of like it is now. Tomorrow, a little calmer. Mostly sunny, high of 48. Nice looking day. Same deal on Friday. Saturday, a little cooler than average. So more like 40. Not a bad weekend. Right now, it is 40 and windy on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRUSHA.
It's a piece of art.
It is very interesting. It could be very euphoric, but could be demoralizing.
On News Talk 830 WCCO.
Enough!
We are sharing what we've had enough of. Text line at 651-461-9226. Enough of people not stopping at stop signs. Oh, my gosh. I agree with that. It is annoying. Jeff in Sauk Rapids is on the CCO Talking text line. Jeff, what have you had enough of?
Eggs.
Eggs? Oh. Have you had enough of the egg discourse, of the egg prices, or just the actual product themselves?
The conversation of eggs.
Yeah.
We've got an orange-haired fascist with a little creepy puppet Musk, who they're trying to disband federal agencies. They're laying off federal employees by the tens of thousands. Last week, the stock market tanked, and all these morons can do is complain about eggs. How many damn eggs do you really need to eat? I mean, come on. How important is an egg in your life when your retirement is shrinking? And
But do you know how much dozen eggs are right now? I tell
you what,
I'm glad you raised
I
that.
don't really care how much eggs are because I'm consuming vast quantities of whiskey because of it all.
That's right. And we're worried, like, at least the whiskey is made in America. Like, I thought about doing a segment on this, Jeff, and I thought, well, people think I'm pretentious enough. I don't know that anyone needs to hear me sharing my concern about my French champagne. I mean, do not look, Donald Trump, you can disband agencies, you can attack the judiciary, you can upset all of the norms of democracy, but how dare you? Do not.
Just don't mess with my champagne.
That's right. You're going to mess with my Côte Rôtie or my Chateauneuf de Pape. I mean,
there you go.
What about my Brunello?
Do I have to
my
hit the dump button on any of this?
You know, this is what I'm concerned about. Very good. Thank you.
All
John.
I can say is screw eggs.
Yeah, screw eggs. I've been thinking about this too, Dan. The level of dialogue on eggs is hilarious.
It's been a lot.
I mean, if you're a baker,
I mean, it's a staple,
I get
right?
it.
But it's a staple for a lot of people.
If you're a breakfast restaurant, all right. Texter asking if the price of eggs is a big yolk.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You know what I've had enough of? Bad puns.
That's the peak of quality writing. How dare you? How dare you? Texter says, I've had enough of the big boy trucks driving up your butt on the highway, straight pipe motorcycles, spoiling spring and summer. Another texter says, skip the NCAA basketball. NCAA wrestling tournament starts tomorrow. Another texter was at MTV's Spring Break 84 in Daytona, and it was babes and beer as far as you could see. That's I've been dreaming of this moment. Is that going to be me? Spring Break, Miami.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and almost 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider vein.